Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here for another installment of what the fuck is going on in this country. Mm, I thought it was going to be a fairly good news weekend. I thought we were really going to, you know, I guess I fell for it too. I was talking about, and we'll probably talk about it later, like people falling for the con man, being conned by Donald Trump. Um, how this guy on Twitter is like, I'm not mad I voted for Kamala. I'm not mad I voted for Trump. I'm mad that Trump didn't fulfill his campaign promises. And it's like, okay, but if you're not mad at the con man for conning you, that kind of makes you a rube. Kind of makes you an idiot. Like, why would you? It's like being mad at a zebra for having stripes. It's like that's just how they are. No, that's not a good example. It's like not believing it's a zebra when everybody's like it has zebra stripes. That's a better fucking analogy. Oh man, I think I messed up my analogy on Twitter. Oh, so I'm like, I I was thinking that the gas prices, affordability, all that jazz, his negative poll numbers, people losing Republican races. Um, I thought that would add up to like, oh, and it's an easy fix for him. This is like legitimately an easy fix. All he has to do is, yeah, okay, let's go back to before February. Let's go back to January status. You know, Strait of Hormuz is open. Iran has um, uranium buried deep in a mountain somewhere. They're not anywhere near a bomb, and they're not anywhere near a missile to reach the United States. Just like the past 10, 15, 20 years. Like, then everything goes back. Um, and then Israel and Zionists started hearing about this deal, and somebody called the president and was like, "Mr. President, you can't do this deal." And apparently, he's backing away from the deal. So instead of getting relief at the gas pump, it's just gonna be another week of, oh my goodness, $5, $6, $7 at the pump. Oh my Jesus. That's so hard. Even for me right now, and I'm in a good financial position. Even for me, I'm just like, why am I filling up all the time? This week I only have to go to work twice. So what I have in the gas tank should last me until Wednesday. And then I'll have to go fill up again. I don't even fill up anymore, man. But before Trump, I was filling up. I was definitely filling up the gas tank. Now I'm just like, here's $10. Like, let's see how far $10 will get me. So yeah. So I hear is, I guess, something leaked regarding the Iran deal. And yeah, we'll see what it
Donald
is.
Trump's plans for Iran came out from someone somewhere, and now we have access to the information. It's made Donald Trump very mad. He was posting on True Social, his blog, very angrily. And Stephen Chung, who looks like a egg with
A villain.
eyes and a nose,
A villain.
perhaps a thumb with a mouth. Regardless, he was trying to counteract all this yesterday, saying, "It's 4 p.m. on a Saturday, and President Trump has been working hard at the White House since early this morning. This man is focused and determined. First off, get his out of your mouth. Secondly, it's not working because even folks like Lindsey, talking about things in your mouth, Lindsey Graham has come out against Donald Trump, wondering why we even got into this war. I'm going to have that for you in just a moment. And we're also learning, too, that Marco Rubio has been trying to do cleanup as well, saying this.
No one who has been stronger on this issue than President Trump. Multiple political leaders, multiple presidents of the United States have all said the same thing. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. The only one who's tried to do anything and has actually done anything about it in a real way has been President Trump. So his commitment to that principle that they'll never have a nuclear weapon shouldn't be questioned by anybody. And the idea that somehow this president, given everything he's already proven he's willing to do, is going to somehow agree to a deal that ultimately winds up putting Iran in a stronger position when it comes to nuclear ambitions is absurd.
Well, it's not absurd because we're actually learning that that's exactly what happened. Here is what we have learned is in the peace deal with Iran and the U.S. This is according to Iranian media, so that probably means the Iranians have leaked this, saying reopening the Strait of Hormuz, but under Iranian control. I just want to point out that they didn't own that strait until after the war, okay? So that strait was kind of just like used by everyone. It was communal, and then Iran took it over. So Iran will have won a very large portion of land if that were to be accepted. They would truly have gotten bigger from our attack on their country. It says here too, releasing billions in frozen Iranian funds and ending the U.S. Navy blockade and withdrawing U.S. forces from the region. Adam Kinzinger said this is just absolutely incredibly bad. And we also have too, Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz saying the same exact thing. Ted Cruz, look at this. Look at this missive. Ted Cruz, I am deeply concerned about what we are hearing about Iran's deal being pushed by some voices in this administration. President Trump's decision to strike Iran was one of the most consequential decisions of his second term. He was right to do so, and we achieved extraordinary military results. Goes on to say all this, but the details coming out, and I pray the early reports are wrong, but the fact that Biden's Rob Malley is praising the deal is not encouraging. President Trump believes in peace through strength.
Ted Cruz? I don't know how... Okay, I do know how into Texas he got elected. He's a Canadian and a Zionist and a Christian nationalist. It's very, very odd man. His loyalties are like USA fourth, okay? And he got elected definitely because, you know, he was backed by AIPAC. You know, he went and kissed the wall and stuff. And they could accept Ted Cruz because he's white passing, you know. But as far as, like, he doesn't do anything for Texas. Like, if he has done more for Israel than Texas in the past 5 years than any senator here in Texas. But yeah, his opinion on this deal is exactly what Israel wants. It's like they don't want a deal. They want the war to continue. They want to expand their territory. They want to continue to just bombing with impunity. You know, populations that don't have a way to defend themselves. And I just don't get this, man. I'm like, as a Christian, as a Catholic, like, how do you support just straight murdering people from the skies? Like, it's not even a just war. Like, Catholics have a doctrine for just wars, and this does not fall under it at all. But yeah, all the Zionists and Israel First people are coming out against this deal, and I don't want to give Trump a win. I really don't. I don't think he deserves any type of praise for this, and I wouldn't give him praise for a deal either. But I do want gas prices to go down, and I do want to stop murdering Iranians, and I do want our men and women of the military service to come home. Like, I don't think we need to keep them in the Middle East, like with big targets on their backs. So,
Strength
I
and
get
his
my
strong
food.
leadership has already made America much safer. He should continue to hold the line. Okay, so let me just translate for you because that is Ted Cruz being like, President Trump, you're fucking up. You're fucking up. That is the most pushback Ted Cruz has done in a very long time. And Lindsey Graham also came out and said the following: if a deal is struck to end the Iranian conflict because it is believed that the Strait of Hormuz cannot be protected from Iranian terrorism and Iran still possesses the capability to destroy major Gulf oil infrastructure, then Iran will be perceived as being a dominant force requiring a diplomatic solution. This combination of Iran being perceived as having the ability to terrorize the strait in perpetuity and the ability to inflict massive damage to Gulf oil infrastructure is a major shift of the balance of power in the region over time, will be a nightmare for Israel. And also, it makes one wonder why the war started to begin with if these perceptions are accurate. I personally am a skeptic of the idea that Iran cannot be denied the ability to terrorize the Strait and the region cannot protect itself against Iranian military capability. It is important we get this right. I mean, he's like so close to getting it. It makes me wonder why the war started to begin in the first place. Well, yeah, there was no point for this war. Piers Morgan literally goes, we're all wondering why this war was started in the first place, and concluding that war hawks like you persuaded President Trump it would be a good idea. It wasn't. It wasn't. This has been an absolute disaster. Ben Rhodes said this guy helped create a global catastrophe and then notices that his dumb policy has left Iran stronger. So, of course, what's needed is even more war. Benjamin Netanyahu came out with this meme, which, by the way, left in Donald Trump's vagina neck, saying Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Okay, sure. I'm sure this will do the trick. That's going to win you the war right there. Now, Speaker Mike Johnson did the opposite thing and said President Trump is the only one who could have gotten Iran, the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism, to the negotiating table. We are greatly encouraged to learn a peace deal in Iran is underway and look forward to learning more about the specifics. Under President Trump's leadership, our nation is stronger, more respected on the global stage, and safer than ever. Only one problem, community note: Obama and other leaders have been able to get Iran to the negotiating table. Unlike
And a lot of people are saying it's definitely a worse deal than Obama, and it probably is. But we're not we're not negotiating from a position of strength. Basically, we're trying to hold their entire population hostage while they are just like, okay, you can hold them for as long as you like. We're not going to give in. And it's turned out that the CIA used Starlink to try to incite insurrection in Iran. They sent in Starlink's satellite dishes or whatever they use on the ground to try to connect the Iranian people to the internet, because the internet has been locked or locked down or heavily censored in Iran. And yeah, that is terrible. That is something that shouldn't happen, but that's in Iran. Iran has a very conservative government and they control everything. So who are we to go into Iran and say, you know what, we're gonna bomb you until you give these people internet? It's basically what we're gonna do in Cuba right now too. Fuck.
Donald Trump, who literally can't, I don't know, they do not seem to respect the individual. Now, Donald Trump, when these reports came out, got very in his feelings, as you can see here, and I'm gonna spare you your 10 minutes instead of reading this to you. But basically what this says is that none of this is true and it's all a lie. And by the way, they cannot have a nuclear weapon. And thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, more on that deal that leaked. The New York Times actually was reporting that a proposed Trump-backed memorandum with Iran would reportedly release $25 billion in frozen Iranian assets. That's like 25 ballrooms to put it into United States perspectives.
That's funny.
But seriously, this is like, I mean, it's just like just such a huge sign. I actually don't think Donald Trump is at all involved in these negotiations one bit. I don't think he cares any more than how he can at least get some sort of like accomplishment under his belt. That's what he's really looking for. But I truly don't believe. Do you think Donald Trump is actually working on
I don't know if he talked about it, but they did talk about how the negotiators have told Iran to ignore Trump's tweets and True Socials, that those are just for show, just for propaganda purposes or whatever, and the real deal is in the room. So what I'm thinking is that the negotiators are close to a deal, and once it got to Trump and he announced a deal, that's when he got hit with the Zionists and Bibi Netanyahu calling him and saying, you can't make the deal. That's when he blew it up. Because ultimately, yeah, like no matter what they say in the negotiation rooms, like Trump can just say no. He's like, no, we're gonna just keep this war. We're gonna keep fighting this war. It's like, all right, cool, bro.
the weekend? The fact that the White House is actually promoting this as like some sort of like big deal that the president is at the White House on a Saturday working. Well, yeah, I would hope so. I would hope so. But that just shows how little this man works, that the White House thinks it's a big deal to show that Donald Trump's actually there. He's never there. And I don't think he's actually working. I mean, I've showed you the memes before. They're literally just posting nonstop while he's there. I mean, who among us haven't been in the office when we're actually shit posting online? I'm guilty, but I'm also not the president of the United States.
Yep.
And this is what happens when you have someone who's in charge who's actually not doing the thing that they're meant to do. We have no leader. Donald Trump's a demented baby who can't stop talking about his ballroom. He doesn't want to go see his son's wedding. Perhaps he's using this as an excuse to not go.
Yeah.
But we need a leader right now who's actually going to get us out of the mess that we got ourselves in. But if we had actually a good leader, I don't think we would actually be in this mess at all. And someone
True.
pointed this
Facts.
out too. They said that Obama secured a better deal with Iran without killing 13 U.S. service members, killing 168 Iranian kids, depleting U.S. munitions stockpile, and forcing the entire world to pay more for gas. I mean, couldn't it be clearer than that, right? And so this is so pathetic, and we're less safe. Iran is emboldened. They're stronger, and Iran has expanded their territory. So, huge win for the United States
Did
yet
they?
again. Thanks,
I
Trump.
don't know about them. Oh, I guess if you count the Strait of Hormuz, yeah. I guess the way we could be worse off is if, yeah, he did say they get to control the Strait of Hormuz. But ultimately, I don't know.
Iran deal that Donald Trump is on the verge of signing, and it seems like him in the White House might be realizing that they got a bad deal. They got fleeced by Iran, and this comes after a number of Republicans.
See, I will say, like, I don't... and I get it, because you don't want to give Trump the win. You want to say, oh, look at, he's so terrible negotiator. Look at how bad of a deal it is. It's like Obama got a better deal and shit. It's like, yeah, you know what? All that is valid, But at this point, we do need to think about the people of the USA and the people of Iran and the people of the rest of the world. Like he said at the end, is like literally global gas prices are up. They're rationing in like 50 countries or something. It's like, okay, no, like an end to the conflict, whether it's a good deal or a bad deal, is more important than, us controlling the Strait of Hormuz. Like, I don't see why we would need to just control the Strait of Hormuz. I don't see a need to stop Iran's nuclear enrichment. Yeah, and I don't see a need for our military to be entangled in the Middle East. So, and this might be why he's backing away from the deal a little bit, is because he is getting a bunch of slack for it. It's like people are definitely hitting him left and right with it.
Republicans came out publicly and condemned what we were learning about the deal. They're saying that Trump has capitulated, he has bent the knee to Iran, which I do believe to be the case. It seems like we're giving Iran everything they want, and the United States is not getting much in return. So I want to give you the latest on what we know about this deal, how it may fall through, maybe it gets signed. We don't really know. But I want to start by just showing you something that Iran's official military spokesperson posted on Twitter. And when Iran is posting something like this, saying the end, and it's a photo of Donald Trump bowing down to the supreme leader, it doesn't exactly give me a lot of confidence that we, the United States, got a great deal. You know what I mean? If Iran's posting stuff like this, I think they're pretty confident about what they got from this deal, and they are saying that Donald Trump is bowing down to Iran. And this is not some random person, it's their official military spokesperson who is saying this. Not good. Anyway, let's get into the article. Trump says a deal for talks with Iran to end the war is near finalization. Trump said Saturday that a draft framework to shape future end-of-war talks with Iran and reopen the Strait of Hormuz is near, quote, finalization. But is it? Who knows? Trump said the pact's terms are largely negotiated and would be revealed shortly. His statement followed Saturday calls with Middle Eastern leaders and a separate conversation with Benjamin Netanyahu. The agreement, if completed, wouldn't achieve Trump's main goal of preventing Iran from ever acquiring a nuclear weapon, but it would prevent the restart of a war Middle Eastern countries didn't want and begin to alleviate a global economic crisis spurred by Iran's closure of the waterway through which a fifth of the world's oil supply flows. So to me, this paragraph by itself makes it seem like Iran is basically getting everything they want, and we are returning to what things were like before the war, but now Iran has more control over the Strait of Hormuz. So the nuclear program remains. They'll reopen the strait, but they'll have economic control over it. They can toll people and toll ships, and the economy maybe goes back to normal after many, many months. It seems like the United States is getting literally nothing, and that this war didn't achieve anything, really. Trump has told aides and counterparts that he
We're getting gas prices going back to normal. Not spending billions of dollars on our military in the Middle East. We're getting what else are we getting? Military members not having targets on their back anymore. We're getting the world not being mad at us anymore. There's definitely a lot of benefits, and I get it. It's like, yeah, let's go hard on him and stuff, but I would rather have peace than what we have now. Like, again, even control of the Strait of Hormuz, I'm like, fuck it. Like, give it to them. Let that be their nuclear option. Let the Strait of Hormuz be the nuclear option for Iran instead of having a real nuke. Boom, there we go. It's like, oh, okay, you don't want us to have a nuclear program? We secure the Strait of Hormuz with our Navy 24/7, 365 days a year, and you can only go through with our permission. Okay, that could be a good, because they need a way to defend themselves. Okay, No country wants to be bullied by another country. We don't like bullies, but Iran doesn't have a way to for us not to be bullied by us. It's very sad. Okay, but you also don't want them to have a nuke, because yeah, okay, if I play devil's advocate, even though I don't fully believe this, if I play devil's advocate and say 10 years down the road do have they do get the missile and nuclear capabilities, then maybe another 10 years down the road they actually have a ayatollah that wants to use it. Okay, yeah, that would be bad. Okay, so in that theory though, if your goal is for Iran not to have a nuke, and you're trying to negotiate a deal with them, it's like you can't have a nuke. It's like, okay, how can we defend ourselves? It's like, all right, you can have a nuclear option. That's not a nuke. The nuclear option for you is you will have control of the Strait of Hormuz. And if somebody invades, targets, attacks your country, then you just close the Strait of Hormuz. And then everybody forces that person or that country to retreat because they've gone nuclear and gas prices are up again. I think that's fair.
Reserves the right to resume attacks on Iran should Tehran fail to abide by the temporary accord. Quote, an agreement has largely been negotiated subject to finalization between the United States and Iran and mediating nations, Trump said on Truth Social. In addition to many other elements of the agreement, the Strait of Hormuz will be opened, which really doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like if the Strait of Hormuz does get opened, it will only be because Iran controls it. It seems like Iran is getting more control over the Strait of Hormuz after the war than they had before the war, and that is undoubtedly a huge win for them. Undoubtedly. You know, Trump has repeatedly promised to deliver an agreement which would impose stricter controls on Iran's nuclear program than the 2015 nuclear deal he pulled out of, the JCPOA. The White House also sought caps on Iran's ballistic missile program and its support for regional militant groups, issues of importance to Israel and America's Middle Eastern partners. People familiar with talks said they are unlikely to be clearly addressed in a framework deal. So what are we getting? What are we getting? If, we're seeking a cap on their ballistic missile program, that's a big point for us here in the United States. That's something we want. That's something our Middle Eastern partners want, countries in the region want, and yet it's unlikely to be clearly addressed in the framework deal, which is a nice way of saying it's not in the deal. If it's not clearly addressed, there might be a vague mention to Iran's ballistic missile program, or maybe like a finger wag saying, don't do this again. But there's no institutional framework to actually stop Iran from continuing to build their ballistic missile program and have it built up and fund it and continue to build the missiles. Like, what are we getting? This deal seems like a total disaster. The framework is on the precipice the framework that Trump is on the precipice of accepting would give the United States and Iran 30 days to reach a final pact, though the timeline could be extended by at least another month if needed, officials from the U.S. and mediating nations said. The spokesman for Iran's negotiating team earlier on Saturday said the 30 to 60-day time frame was reasonable. Okay, great. We got something. A 30 to 60-day timeline. I mean, this is insane. Both sides got on the same page after Trump on Saturday afternoon spoke with the leaders of Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, Jordan, and Bahrain. Trump then spoke with Netanyahu, who has long opposed diplomacy with Iran. Iran has been pressing for a framework that would begin with an agreement to end the war and lift the U.S. naval blockade on Iranian ports, while Iran would temporarily reopen the Strait of Hormuz and waive transit fees as long as negotiations continue. Iran wants swift unfreezing of assets held abroad under U.S. sanctions and is insisting on an agreement that encompasses a more permanent ceasefire in Lebanon, which would be huge for Iran. If we lift those sanctions, which is, as you can see right here, $100 billion.
I think more importantly is if we could get Israel to stop bombing Lebanon and Gaza, yeah, that'd be another win for us. But not for Israel. So, bro, Israel just fucks up everything, man. I don't know why we give them billions of dollars. I don't know why we put so much weight on their partnership. Ugh.
In frozen assets around the world, if we even lift a little bit of that, that is a significant financial infusion for Iran. And if we, just see a permanent ceasefire in Lebanon, which the United States has been kind of in favor of, somewhat opposed recently, that would be also a huge win for Iran and Hezbollah in Lebanon as well. The nuclear issue.
Bro, Harry. They are not. Hezbollah is just a smokescreen, bruh. They just want to expand their fucking territory. It's not about Hezbollah. It's about Israel wanting to expand their territory and kill anybody who gets in their way, bro. Come on now.
Issue remains the greatest sticking point. Washington wants the ultimate pact to include Iranian commitments for a long suspension of its nuclear program, potentially for 20 years, and a pledge to hand over its stockpile of near-weapon-grade material to the U.S. Iran has balked at those conditions and said the nuclear issue should be addressed at a later stage alongside broader sanctions relief, which means it's never going to happen. Donald Trump's whole, they will never have a nuclear weapon, almost seems like they'll never have a nuclear weapon for 20 years, and their nuclear program won't continue for 20 years if we even get to that point, even if they even agree to say, yeah, we'll pause it for 20 years. So, this just overall seems like a complete and total disaster. I don't think we've read anything in this article, this brief summary of what's going on behind the scenes that seems positive for the United States, and you actually have...
No, Harry, I think you're wrong there. There's a lot of positives there. The goals of the war... Ooh, you're getting banned. The goals of the war... Yes, we're failing there. But as far as the goals of what's better for the entire world, what's better for the USA, no, I think we get a lot there.
Have some Republicans.
So, and right, his thinking is exactly what these Republicans are thinking. It's like, no, this is a terrible deal. You can't do this deal. It's so bad. How could you ever do this deal? It's like, what do you mean? The alternative is continue where things are and people spending... Oh, I've seen some trucks. Oh my Jesus. People, they're like, it's $107 to fill up my truck. I'm like, Jesus. How do you run a business with a truck costing you $107 to fill up?
Publicly saying the same thing. You have Mike Pompeo, Donald Trump's former Secretary of State, saying the deal being floated with Iran seems straight out of the Obama playbook. Pay the IRGC to build a WMD, weapon of mass destruction program, and terrorize the world, not remotely America first. It's straightforward. Open the damn strait, deny Iran access to money, take out enough Iranian capability so it cannot threaten our allies in the region. Overdue, let's go. Now, of course, Mike Pompeo is wrong to say that Obama's deal with Iran was a bad thing. It was certainly a good deal. Obama's nuclear deal quite literally prevented Iran from getting a nuclear deal, but Mike Pompeo is a war hawk, so of course he thinks that. But this is just, a Republican that is attacking Donald Trump, but he's not necessarily right about, opposing a deal similar to Obama. Lindsey Graham also said if a deal struck to end the Iranian conflict because it is believed that the Strait of Hormuz cannot be protected from Iranian terrorism and Iran still possesses the capability to destroy major Gulf oil infrastructure, then Iran will be perceived as being a dominant force requiring a diplomatic solution. This combination of Iran being perceived as having the ability to...
Are you fucking stupid? See what I mean, Harry? He sounds just like you. We should be seeking a democratic, diplomatic solution with this country. We should be reaching a diplomatic conclusion with all countries. We shouldn't be the bully of the world and using our military to try to force negotiation deals. It's gross. It's disgusting. It's exactly the behavior of a predator. And we don't want to be that. Lindsey Graham definitely seems like he gives you those types of vibes. He's like one of those that are like, anybody can be bought.
Terrorize the strait
Predators.
in perpetuity, and the ability to inflict massive damage to Gulf oil infrastructure is a major shift of the balance of war. in the region, and power and overtime will be a nightmare for Israel. So Lindsey Graham opposing it. Ted Cruz even said, I am deeply concerned about what we're hearing about an Iran deal being pushed by some voices in the administration. If the result of all that is to be an Iranian regime still run by Islamists who chant death to America, now receiving billions of dollars, being able to enrich uranium and develop nuclear weapons, and having effective control over the Strait of Hormuz, then the outcome would be a disastrous mistake. And Trump seems to be lashing out on social media because of it. He said one of the worst deals ever made by
If you don't like the things that somebody says or what they say or how they say it, that's fine. You know, your feelings are valid, Teddy. If they hurt your feelings, and go ahead and tell them that they hurt your feelings. But to advocate for continuing a war that's costing billions of dollars, American lives, and financial crisis around the world, but especially here in the U.S., because we are selfish. Because people say death to America, well, maybe stop bombing them. Maybe pull out of the war, and they'll stop chanting that. Maybe. It'll be a good start. Like a good first step. Okay? But to continue a war because your feelings are hurt about words they said, oh my lord. That's... like, you're not thinking about the men and women whose lives are harmed by this. You're not thinking about the men and women in the military who have to go out and do these atrocities and potentially later be charged with war crimes. You're not thinking about the people who can't afford $2-3 raise in gas prices. Like, all you're thinking about is yourself and your hurt feelings. Like, Jesus Christ. You're a representative. You're not Rafael Cruz. Okay? You're Representative Rafael Cruz. Okay? And the people you represent do not want higher gas prices. Matter of fact, they elected Trump to get lower prices. If somebody tells you they're going to do something and they do the opposite, what are they? Fucking liar.
by our country was the Iran nuclear deal. So maybe trying to lay the framework that his deal was better, put forth and signed into existence by Obama and the rank amateurs of the Obama admin. It was a direct path to Iran developing a nuclear weapon, which couldn't be further from the truth. Not so with the transaction currently being negotiated with Iran by the Trump admin. The exact opposite, in fact. The negotiations are proceeding in an orderly and constructive manner, and I have informed my representatives not to rush into a deal in that time is on our side. The blockade will remain in full force until an agreement is reached and certified and signed. Both sides must take their time and get it right. There can be no mistakes. Our relationship with Iran is becoming a much more professional and productive one. They must understand, however, that they cannot develop or procure a nuclear weapon or bomb. I would like to thank thus far all the countries in the Middle East for their support and cooperation. So Trump, still harping on the idea that Iran can't get a nuclear weapon, except everything we're learning about the negotiations behind the scene is that Trump is saying Iran can get a nuclear weapon. So, look, we have no idea what's going to take place here. Trump is lashing out. The Republicans are lashing out. Everything we know about this deal so far seems to be a complete and total disaster. I think we probably could have guessed that from the get-go. I don't think we know Donald Trump now. I mean, he's been in politics for 10 years. Anytime he says he has a great deal that's going to revolutionize something, it's always a deal that does absolutely nothing or actually hurts the United States in the long run. So, we'll see what happens. I'll leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not a great video.
Subpoenas to Marxist political influencer Hassan Piker and Code Pink founder Susan Medea
Okay,
Benjamin.
and here we go. Like, now we're getting definite more evidence of the plan to become a complete fascist dictatorship. This is kind of worst case scenario, but this is the scenario that I have in my head come November. So this is like a sneak peek of it, and I'm not surprised. A lot of people are though. But once they come for Hassan, they're gonna come for me. And I like jokingly talked about this in my group chat with my friends. But now that it's happening in real time, it's like, fuck. Like, anybody can be a target now. Anybody's a target. Anybody who speaks out is a target. I mean, Stephen Colbert is no longer a late night talk show host because he got on Trump's bad side. It's like, okay, what happened, free speech warriors? What happened? Like, fuck me. He has literally everything he said he was gonna combat the left for: draining the swamp, free speech advocate, no new wars. He has gone and done those things.
As part of a wider investigation into whether U.S. organizations and leaders violated U.S. laws and sanctions in supporting Cuba's communist regime, Fox News Digital has learned. And I'll go ahead and throw this article up here, but really quickly, I just want to remind everyone that this is a subpoena for a probe, not an indictment. And that's really, really important distinction in the language, because a probe is when they're trying to dig up dirt on you. They are looking for anything that they could possibly say Hassan did wrong. Imagine some guy fucking following you around, trying to see if you jaywalked 3 days ago, trying to look at
I did.
Yeah, right.
I'm guilty.
Did you fucking, take a sip of your fucking Quick Trip drink and then refill it up at the fountain because that's stealing? That's what they're trying to do to Hassan Piker for his entire trip to Cuba, essentially, right? They're going to nitpick everything he did. Did you give money to somebody that we said you couldn't give money to? Oh, did you give money to this homeless guy and you didn't register it? Oh, did you stay at this hotel? Oh, did you shake hands with somebody that we think is a terrorist, right? Oh, did you go and stay at somebody's house and like 18 weeks ago that somebody else stayed at that guy's house, and look at all the crimes that guy committed, right? We're going to try and do all kinds of unimaginable guilt by association, but we don't have any evidence yet. We don't have anything to go off of. We just know you went to Cuba and then came home. So we're going to demand you come in for questioning, and under fucking threat of indictment and also under fucking threat of perjury, you have to tell them what we fucking did, so then we can go line by line with a magnifying glass and scrutinize all of your behavior and try and find a crime. This is total misuse of the justice system. This is fascism. This is predatory. It's supposed to be against the fucking law. And I just want to start this entire conversation by saying I don't know very much about the law, but I know that this is what the government does when they want to fuck you and they don't have anything.
Yeah, 100%. And I really just think it's about intimidation. I don't think that Hassan is going to go to fucking prison or whatever,
Oh. I think if he can drag out the court. Well, okay, so here's the thing. It's not a criminal indictment, but it is a subpoena from the U.S. Treasury. And I think the U.S. Treasury does have the ability to fuck with his finances. So, and also recommend charges be sent to the Department of Justice, and then it would be criminal charges. I think that more likely he gets sanctioned. Like, he literally gets sanctioned. Like, can't use his U.S. accounts. His assets are frozen and stuff like that. Definitely, I think that's likely. But yeah, it is just a gross. And again, here we are. They're saying, "Oh, Biden weaponized the DOJ," and here they are weaponizing every branch of government. Not every branch of government. Every department of government to go after people they don't like. And I'm just gonna say it. I think it was Elon Musk who got this in subpoena cooking, because Hassan Piker had his baby mama on the on his show, and she, Ashley Sinclair, she gave Hassan Piker a sweater that said, "I'm not the stepdad. I'm the dad who stepped up." You know, I mean, he's the daddy of Elon's kid now, and you didn't hear a peep out of Elon. You didn't hear anything out of Elon. Not that I saw, anyways. And I was, for a while, that was all that was coming up on my Twitter, was that like clip in the picture. But the very next day, or maybe 2 days after, news drops about the subpoena for Hassan Piker. It's like, yo, did he call up Trump and was like, "Hey, I don't like this Hassan Piker guy talking with my ex baby mama, you know? I don't like that they're saying that he probably smashed, bro. If I was Hassan Piker, I would have smashed just for the just to get one over on Elon. Like, fuck you, Elon. I'm gonna fuck your baby mama, and she's gonna like it. Hell yeah. I would send him a fucking video of that shit. But I'm a petty bitch like that, okay? I think he did it just because she's a baddie. Like, she is really fucking pretty. And he's like, you know what? She wants it. I got it. Let me give it to her. That's how I think it went down. But for me, it would have been like, no, like, I'm gonna smash cheeks because fuck Elon Musk. But yeah, I think that he didn't like this happening, so he told Trump, get him. And Trump's like, oh, say less. We've had something cooking in the books for a while. And now where this cross-pollinates to the next phase or the next steps in Trump's plan is, yeah, I think we're going to invade Cuba. I think that maybe not invade, but bomb their, oh God, I hope not more schools. I don't want to bomb any more schools. I don't want to kill any more people. I don't want other people to die. Like, I don't want our money to be used that way. I want our money to be making the world a better place. They collect $5 trillion in tax revenue, bro. They collect $5 trillion in tax revenue, but we spend $6 trillion. Okay? Over half of our budget is to the military. And we're not at war. We're at war now. But we weren't at war when he got into office. But here we are, gonna use that $900 billion military budget to go fuck with Cuba. How big is Cuba? 110 square kilometers. 42,800 square miles compared to Texas. Okay. It's 6 times smaller than Texas, okay? Cuba is about 42 to 48,000 square miles. State of Texas, 596 square miles, okay? So we're talking like Rhode Island, a place the size of fucking like Manhattan or something. And we want to go send our $900 billion military to go fucks with them? That's crazy. But anyways, okay, back to cross-pollination. They're okay with going over Hassan, to going at Hassan now, because Hassan went to Cuba to shed light on the poverty that we're oppressing the Cuban people with, and to deliver aid and food and medical supplies that are badly needed because of us, the USA's blockade. So they're like, okay, Elon, you want us to go for this guy? All right, this is perfect because he went to Cuba. We want to have an excuse to invade Cuba or to take over Cuba. So that ties right in. So we're going to say he went to Cuba, talked to communists, talked to terrorists, illegally or violated our rules about visiting that country. So we're going to spread this propaganda while we spread propaganda that Cuba is going to attack us. That's what they're saying. That Cuba has acquired drones and they're getting ready to hit Miami, Florida, bro. That's their fucking new line. No more. We've downgraded from weapons of mass destruction to terrorist shells to, okay, they're thinking about uranium for weapons of mass destruction, to, oh shit, they have drones. Like, they have drones. They can't have drones. Those drones could attack us. And even though we could literally put the entire island into the ocean, even though we could destroy the entire fucking island within minutes, they're a threat to us? I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I will not ever entertain I'm a very proud American citizen. I think we do have one of the best militaries in the world. I think we do have the potential to be the greatest country in the world. We used to be. Not so much anymore. We can go back though. All right, we need to just flip the switch from Republican to to Democrat, and to say that we should be afraid of a island that's smaller than Texas, yo, you can fuck off. Yeah, I was in an argument. I was like, let's just half the fucking military budget on Twitter. They're like, then who's gonna defend us? I was like, first of all, you still have half. All right. Second of all, Americans. Like, one thing you can be sure as shit tootin' is that Americans not only will defend themselves, they have the means to defend themselves. I think we have like 100 guns per one per every American. So it's 340 million Americans. I think that's like 3 trillion guns or something like that. I'm not good with math, but fuck, bro. I have never been. And we have the National Guard. It's like, what? Who is going to invade us? Strategically. Strategically. Even if they were able to wipe out our entire military force, strategically, they would still have to contend with the American people who are very rebellious, with very itchy trigger fingers, okay? Like they fucking they cry about an invasion from South America of poor and hungry men and women and children coming across the border. They cry about that. Imagine what they would do to actual invaders who are trying to take our land. Oh my Jesus. Like Florida, Louisiana, South Carolina, maybe North Carolina. Yeah, those like swampy, foresty, gross type of states. Texas too. Yeah, Texas too. Oh boy, oy vey. That would be like when we invaded Vietnam, like guerrilla warfare in the fucking jungle. They've set traps. They have hidden bunkers, and they're willing to die for their fucking land and country. Okay, it's just not gonna go well for any fucking country trying to invade us. They would lose again, and this is if they destroyed our entire military force. They would lose their 75% of their military force trying to invade the USA. So no, I am not afraid of halving our military budget and using that half. We could split the half. We could use half to pay down the debt and the other half to keep for Medicare for all, Social Security, Sullivan, infrastructure, all sorts of stuff.
There's all these right-wing slop tubers like fucking Asmongold, like, you know, dancing on his grave and putting clickbait bullshit out there. Like, Hassan Piker is going to jail and shit. Bullshit. If anything, you know, I hate to make the comparison, but I kind of think this is similar to the Tucker Carlson situation when briefly it was like, is Tucker's, you know, gonna get indicted or they're gonna jail Tucker or what? I remember that, and then it like completely went away like 2 days later, and no one has talked about it since then because it's just a threat. You know, it's an intimidation tactic, and yeah, they're not gonna be able to find anything because obviously Hassan, Medea Benjamin, they made sure to go through the proper channels and stay at the approved hotels. Which is what this is really all about. You know, some people were alleging that Hassan was like staying at one of the Cuban government-owned hotels, which you know, is I guess illegal for American citizens to stay at, which is just so fucking ridiculous and absurd in the first place. But that's not even the case. He didn't stay at one of those hotels. He stayed at one of the government-approved fucking hotels, which is why he endured all of that ridiculous fucking backlash over the 5-star hotel. Can you believe these socialist millionaires are staying in 5-star hotels? Yeah, that's because he had to stay in that hotel to avoid the situation which he's in now anyway. But yeah, they're not going to be able to find anything. They're not going to be able to find anything. I mean, unless, yeah, I guess what they're looking for is like proof that you know, the organizers of the flotilla, that they were like working with the communist government of Cuba or like being paid to do this aid mission. But unless they're able to find something which proves that, I don't see what the case is, and I don't think
Material support for a terrorist organization. There's plenty of fucking federal laws that they could hit him with, but I think that'd be the number one. I think it would depend on like what they have designated Cuba as. I don't think. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So they are. Yeah. So I mean, Cuba is currently designated a state sponsor of terrorism by the United States government, alongside Iran, North Korea, and Syria. So yeah, they could definitely hit them with material support for a terrorist organization if they did in fact help the government of Cuba. And to their point, I don't think he gets convicted. No, I don't think that happens, but I definitely think they charge him and they put him um, through a trial. Maybe he doesn't get to trial, but they definitely charge him, book him, trot him around as a traitor, communist supporter and stuff, supporter of terrorists. But ultimately, I think he would be bonded out and he'd be able to afford his defense. And there's been some, and it's the K Hive. I don't know what the hell's going on with the K Hive targeting allies, targeting people of other minorities. Like Hassan's a Muslim, he's a minority, he's Turkish. His parents are immigrants. Like, he definitely fits well with the Democratic Party, but the K Hive, Kamala's people, were attacking him. One creator was like, yo, I don't feel sorry for the Nepo baby millionaire getting charged. It's like, wait, what? You don't see the implications of this? Like, okay, like, and then when you get charged, are we not supposed to care? Or now we have to care? Because you didn't care with Hassan, why should I care for you? I would care for both, but you don't. So again, I just don't. I don't. Why go after people who aren't entirely backing everything you say, but are still in the same camp as you? I've had this happen to me in the last couple of weeks. It's like I'm getting attacked by people for supporting James Tellerico. I think this is a bot though. I actually don't think that she was a real person. But anyways, we'll use the example. Yes, for still supporting James Tellerico, for supporting who else? Graham Plattner, and supporting Hassan Piker. It's like these people are legitimately trying to use what is available to the people to combat the terrible, terrible things that the U.S. government is doing to people right now, specifically the Republican branch of the Republican Party in control of the U.S. government. Do you not have enough ammunition to go after Republicans? Do you just get like bored about going? I do. I will admit, like, yeah, I do get kind of bored of this. Like, I think that's why I did take a little bit of a hiatus. Not streaming. Not every day, but not streaming as consistently, and going out dancing and playing video games with my friends and watching movies and going out with my friends. Because I was bored. It's like, yeah, like all this shit is so terrible. Every day something terrible happens. Some Republican comes out and he's a pastor and he's touched children for like 5 years and now he's finally he's barely getting charged. Or Republican man who pled guilty to abusing a boy. Only has to spend 1 day in jail and does not have to register as a sex offender. See what else? Chud the Builder, fucking instigating altercations with black people, and on Mother's Day, his altercation with a black man ended up with him shooting the black man. The black man survived. He's in the hospital. There's a GoFundMe for him. But there's also a GoFundMe for Chud the Builder. Chud the Builder needs money for his defense because he's being charged with attempted murder. Okay? And this is my philosophy just in general. Is like, there are... No, this is my... Okay, it's like a stupid reason for me not to be racist. What are the reasons I'm not racist? It's because there are so many people out there, like Chud the Builder, like Ted Cruz, like Trump, like Stephen Miller, that deserve our hate, our indignation. They deserve the type of shellacking that we give them on the internet and in real life. I don't need to put that on a skin color, because these people have all types of skin color, okay? So, and what I mean is, like, these people, they deserve it, okay? I'm sorry, if you were a better person, you wouldn't deserve it. However, you are a shit person who wants terrible things to happen to people that look like me, so you deserve everything you get, okay? That's who gets my hate, not a whole ass community just because they don't speak they don't speak my language, they don't look like me, or their culture is I don't like their culture. So I mean, the fighting culture, I guess I don't like. Shooting culture, I don't like either. Okay, but here in this case, Chud the Builder, a white man, chose to take out his gun and shoot an unarmed man. Okay, that culture right there isn't. No one race has a monopoly on that. Okay, some people try to say there is, but look at just today. And then I think it was in June. It was short. It wasn't too long after Trump was elected that a man shot and killed his daughter after they got in a fight about Trump. Oh, what happened? We're here? Yeah, I think we're close to here.
Risks involved with this. Obviously, we were warning about that. We said it was incredibly courageous for all the people involved to participate in this because of exactly this issue.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that. In fact, Gavin, you were really prescient when you said, hey, don't put it past the Donald Trump regime to do something about this, right? What they did was heroic, and don't let anybody talk shit on them, because it is not impossible and not even unlikely that the Donald Trump regime will not retaliate, especially with Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. And here's what's also crazy, Gavin, right? This is all about how, like, oh, did he actually stay at the Hotel Nacional de Cuba? Guess who did stay at that hotel? Nick fucking Shirley, right? Nick Shirley posted a picture of himself violating OFAC regulations in a video by staying at the Hotel Nacional de Cuba, which is on the U.S. State Department's Cuba prohibited accommodations list. So this guy who's beloved by the White House, I think he was just kicking it with like RFK or some stupid shit, right? He actually did go to Cuba and he did stay where you're not allowed to stay, but there's no fucking probe into him, no pun intended, right? There's no fucking indictment into that guy. Okay, the dumbest man in America, an illiterate piece of fucking dirt scum.
The
Nick
one time I
Shirley.
really want to use the R word is when we're talking about this motherfucker. I have to use every fucking ounce of self-control and restraint not to use the R word when we talk about Nick Shirley. Because if there's one motherfucker that word, you know, is applicable, it's this guy. Holy shit. Yeah, it's so fucking embarrassing. Such hypocrisy.
I second that 100%. Like, same thing. Like, he definitely was. So, in high school, because of budget cuts, I don't know if it's because budget, but because of budget cuts or not, but the ESL kids and the kids who did have diagnosed mental handicaps, they all had some of the same classes. He would be one of them Americans in those classes. 110%.
Yeah, again, I just think this is intimidation. You don't actually predict that like Hassan or Medea Benjamin are going to get charged, right?
It's tough to say. I think that I'm more nervous now given how they've treated Mahmoud Khalil. Right, Mahmoud Khalil's about to get deported from this fucking country for protesting in New York City, right?
But he wasn't born here.
He
right?
wasn't born here, right? That's the distinction. But I just think it's like
not that it should matter, but
right. No, you're totally right. That is, I mean, if Hassan was born in Turkey, if Hassan was not born in New Jersey, guys, I would be extremely concerned for him, and I might suggest that he start broadcasting from another country. I swear to God, I'm not kidding. I think it would be seriously dangerous for Hassan in a Donald Trump regime.
Totally.
If ICE could come after him, think about it. There's so many people that we know for a fact are legally allowed to live in America, and they have been put through untold horrors of abduction. I mean, losing their lives, guys. So thank God Hassan Piker was born in New Jersey, right? It shouldn't come down to that, right? If he'd been born in a hospital in Istanbul, who gives a fuck, except for the American government really does. So that's his saving grace. But I just don't want to come out here and be like, oh no, they would never do that, because I think there's like maybe a 5% chance that they do bring him in front of a court and they do make up some shit. I don't know. I just would never put anything past the fucking Donald Trump administration, but I don't want to come out and fearmonger. I don't think it's likely that happens, but I would say that the veiled threat is only so veiled. I think that they might do something to really, fuck up Hassan Piker's day, if especially given Marco Rubio's like fanatical personal conviction to overthrow the Cuban government.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, I think that's what this is all about. It's laying the groundwork. It's trying to put out a signal to intimidate people from continuing to go to Cuba, to continue to even like raise awareness about Cuba and the crimes that we're committing, the literal fucking collective punishment that we're engaged in there. Hassan did put out this statement. I know he's talked about this on stream potentially today as well, but not this one, sorry. Let me find it. He put out this statement. Here we go. Saying that the American government would rather try to criminalize delivering aid to a country we've starved than punish the Epstein class. So he doesn't seem terribly afraid. I don't know. It seems like he's pretty confident that he's going to beat these phony, charges. But yeah, we'll see what they're able to dig up. The Cuban government sent an email to Code Pink saying we welcome your flotilla. Therefore, you're collaborating with communists. They're going to try to cook up some ridiculous bullshit like that. But I don't think that the Cuban government paid the flotilla organizers. I don't think this was like some sort of a corrupt, PR deal disguised as a humanitarian effort. I think it genuinely was a humanitarian effort. But yeah, we'll see what they can dig up.
Yeah, and I think it is worth noting that even Fox News, one of the most conservative rag sheets in all of America, has and they broke this story. Fox News Digital broke this story. They called it a serious escalation by the president, right? So here, let me find that serious. Oh my god.
I have to do it on that
Yeah,
page.
I do. I fucking hate this. I've got two monitors set up and I wasn't.
It's all good.
Okay.
Hit that like button while Zach finds
yeah.
the section.
Here we go. The administrative subpoenas mark a serious escalation by the Trump administration against a far-left nonprofit activist network, that's Code Pink, that has spent years defending communist regimes, which is your fucking right to do in this goddamn country if you want to. We have freedom of fucking speech. I don't have to agree with everything Medea Benjamin has ever said, and neither do you. Defending communist regimes from Cuba to China, while presenting its work as humanitarian aid, anti-war organization, and solidarity with people oppressed by the imperialist U.S. colonial power. So making them sound based still in the language, but referring to it as a serious escalation. And again, they rest their entire fucking case on this bullshit accusation that we just showed you. Nick Shirley confessed to doing this crime. No investigation into him. According to public statement, it's believed that the delegation members stayed at a hotel the U.S. State Department has put on the Cuba restricted list. That's been debunked, but they'll have to litigate that in court. I think you're right that Hassan can beat this. It's just a matter of the extent at which the U.S. government will cheat and try and make him suffer and make Medea Benjamin suffer, and also cost him a shitload of money defending himself. I think that's worth saying. You know, obviously Hassan's a rich guy, he can afford it, but Medea Benjamin, she's a lifelong activist, right? I'm sure she's not destitute, but anyway, you know, lawsuits are really fucking expensive, and if you're not Hassan Piker, it will bankrupt you.
Yeah, no, it's
I mean, if it's a criminal indictment, then, you know, if she doesn't have the funds, she can get a public defender. And honestly, I think a public defender wins this case really easy.
it's a horrific development. Don't get me wrong. Even though I'm pretty confident that it is just a bullshit display of intimidation and an empty threat. Yeah, it's absolutely horrific escalation. The only potential silver lining, Zach, this is the tab I accidentally threw up on screen, but now it's appropriate. People pointing out that this is maybe about to blow up Hassan's profile, turn him into a national resistance figure. Almost kind of putting him in that same category with people like Stephen Colbert or whatever, who got canned thanks to Donald Trump. Really bringing more mainstream attention to Hassan. Not that he really needs much more mainstream attention. I feel like with all these fucking articles constantly being written about Hassan, most people know who he is. But still, I think this is going to draw up a lot of sympathy, even from people that don't typically defend Hassan, because it's just an obvious attack on the First Amendment and our ability to fucking move freely throughout the world. Like, Cuba's not an American territory. Why the fuck are you telling me what hotel I can stay in a different fucking country, which Hassan is not even guilty of, like Nick Shirley. But even if he had been, like, again, it just blows my mind that they can criminalize you staying at a hotel which is not in American territory. Like, what do you fucking mean? I wasn't in America. That's like saying, oh, if you go, smoke pot in Germany, you can get locked up in America. Like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just makes no sense.
Oh, totally. I mean, and again, I think if you look at a figure like Hassan Piker, right? I've seen some liberals fail this very basic test, but I've also seen some people pass it where it's like, hey, man, my vision for the Democratic Party is different than Hassan Piker's, but this is absolutely insane, and I'll fight to my last breath to make sure that there's not intimidation tactics like this. And it's also extra ironic, extra hilarious, if it in a dark, fucking perverse way, that it's the party that loves freedom and always wants to talk about your personal freedom, and we're all about.
There's a big reason why I left the Republican Party. It's like, yeah, I joined it when I was 18. I was like, yeah, Republican Party, they want to protect your freedom. Every time Democrats make a law, it takes away one of your freedoms. Democrats are want to take away your guns. All that shit. Now they're like, yeah, we want to take away everything. We don't like what you say. We don't like how you say it. We don't like where you go to say it. So we're gonna come after you.
Freedom that wants to literally make you less free when you travel abroad, right? They want to take away your choices, right? Aren't the Republicans always pissing and moaning about how we have to have the right to 87 choices? That's why we get pillaged when it comes to our insurance costs every month, right? That's why we pay more in health care than any other fucking developed nation. That's why, because we have to have our choices, right? Well, how come I can't choose where I want to fucking stay when I leave this country, right? What is this, communist China? What is this, the USSR? You guys got me like on a fucking leash. Do I need to go to the nearest embassy for a developed fucking safe country like Switzerland or Canada when I'm oh guys, please, I'm at the Montreal fucking embassy, or the at the Canadian embassy in Montreal, please. I'm seeking political refuge from America because my president's insane.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely insane. But despite the fact that I'll defend Hassan,
I wonder if I could be a refugee. Oh, I think they're cracking down on refugee status in Spain. Oh. If I do get persecuted, I don't know if I'm gonna run or fight. I don't know if I just go to Spain and live with Anna, or I take it on the chin and just spend some time in jail and fight my case in court. Like, what is going to be the option? Or what's going to be the move?
when it comes to this alleged crime, there is a crime Hassan does appear to be guilty of. Zach, I don't know if you saw this, but apparently Hassan let his dog shit in a public space and did not clean it up.
Wow.
So, I think he probably should go to jail for this. Jokes aside, what an unhinged thing to fucking do. Someone is waiting outside of his fucking house or some shit to photograph him. And this doesn't even really seem to prove the allegation. Like, I don't see any fucking dog shit on the ground.
Also, all right, let's say this. This is the grass right outside of his crib. Like, that's his door to his house, right? So he's like let his dog out to shit. Like, how do we know that he doesn't have a person? I mean, Hassan's rich as hell. How do we know that he doesn't have a person that does his lawn care? Like, we don't know where his fucking property line is, you weirdo. Second of all,
if I was rich, I would definitely have somebody pick up the dog shit for me. 100%. I'm not even rich right now, and I've been thinking about paying my neighbor to do my dishes, okay? I hate fucking dishes. And if you hate fucking picking up your dog shit, and you can hire somebody to do it for you, baby, that's capitalism. That's making our whole system turn.
well, second of all, you know what? In a neighborhood like this, you know what keeps the property value down a little bit? This is reverse gentrification. In fact, it's something I don't know if I've ever done this, but
I think I've observed a few.
Gavin over here is a liar. Now, I personally, I don't know what kind of a savage beast would be like, oh fuck, I forgot my bags. No. This shit happens, right? And this is one of the things about the internet, right? It's like the internet will try and catch you in like a bad moment where we all are fucking up. Like, oh, you put out your cigarette butt on the sidewalk instead of putting it in a trash can. Like, you should be killed, And it's just like, all right, pick up. Yeah, you're supposed to pick up your dog shit. Like, you should do it. Like, there's signs all over my fucking neighborhood from the yuppies now. They're like $250 sign, and I'm
Damn.
like, fuck all
That's
of you.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, this is Columbus Park, bro. There's shit everywhere. Fuck you.
I'm definitely an advocate. Everybody should pick up your dog shit because nobody wants to see that shit. And when you do it with a bag, it's like super easy. I will say though, I am guilty of not having a bag all the time, and my apartment complex not providing bags. They were always out of them, and more often than not, I will go back out and pick it up, but I will maybe like a few to a handful of times either forgot to go pick it up or I just didn't go back to pick it up. But 9 out of 10 times I just pick up my dog.
But anyway,
But this is like Fox News has somebody sitting outside Hassan Piker's house. Okay, this is what I want to get to. Taking photographs of it. He has a PI following. Somebody has probably Fox News has a PI following around Hassan Piker, like taking photos of him, and that's the worst that they found. Like, if that was me, oh my Jesus. I don't even smoke and drive anymore, really. Yeah, you wouldn't catch me doing too much. Maybe just picking up from my guy. That's pretty, like... You would have to know that I went there to pick up to know what is happening.
In all kinds of different directions how to feel about this woman, but I'm excited to watch this.
Yeah, people were speculating about a lot of things, including whether or not they smashed after recording this interview. Because it definitely seems like Ashley St. Clair was kind of like flirting a little bit with Hassan. So let's take a look at this one clip that you referenced real quick, kind of roasting Elon Musk. And yeah, Ashley St. Clair is interesting because on one hand, I'm like, are you a fucking grifter? Like, a year ago, you're
She literally admitted it in this interview that yeah, she was like her origin story. Um. Okay, listen. I always had a little thing for Ashley Sinclair. Look at how beautiful she is. Look at how beautiful she is. I'm just like, you're too beautiful to have a right wing soul. Okay, you are too pretty to be that ugly in the heart, like these people you're dating, or these people you're with, these people that you promoted, and damn. Okay. What happened is just one of the most right wing, top tier propagandists found her when she was in college, 20 years old, like door knocking for some cause. He's like 30, 40 years old. They start dating. She drops out of college. And in the right wing circles, he's a big wig. So, she's feeling like she's a big wig. And so she just walks on his coattails and rubs elbows with all the top right wing people. And so she's like, all right, I'm here. I have the visibility. I have the following, or I have the backing of these top people. Might as well make money. Might as well make some fucking money. And if I was 20 years old, and I will have to say though, her taste in men is just terrible. I mean, I think she likes money more than looks, and that's fine if you're a material person and material things matter more than you than actual looks. I'm not gonna yuck your yum. But so for me, if it if it was the one from Florida, fucking, let's see, Congresswoman from Florida, Paulina Luna. If it was Anna Paulina Luna, I'm 20, still a Republican. I think I was still a Republican. Yeah, I didn't leave until like 2016. If I'm 20, still a Republican, and she's like, hey, I'm interested in you, like, bruh, I'm probably not, I don't know, I don't think I would be. I would probably be grifting too. I'd probably be grifting like her too. To a point where I would start feeling bad, probably crashed out, and end up on TMZ and stuff like that. My mom crying and stuff. Probably end up like that, yes. So I definitely understand her origin story, and I don't blame her for it. And I'm glad that she's like seen the error of her ways, and she is like, yeah, I was groomed into it when I was 20 years old, and from that point on, I just went gung ho with it, and things didn't get bad till I got pregnant, and that's when I really saw how 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 terrible the Republican Party is.
You were pretending to be the number one like MAGA babe ever, just like espousing the most unhinged fucking horseshit. I totally understand people that don't trust her and think she's just kind of like an opportunist or whatever.
Um, Katie Miller's taken her place. Katie Miller is now a brown woman who thinks brown people are bad, and so she stands with the white people.
At the same time, she is.
She's definitely more white passing than Katie Miller. Katie Miller, when I look at her standing with Stephen Miller, I'm just like, blink twice if you're like under duress. Like you should definitely be hanging out with us and not him.
Spilling the tea. Like she's spilling the tea and providing receipts, exposing some of the most humiliating conduct from Elon Musk. So, not going to turn my nose up at that, regardless of whether or not we should trust her as some sort of, a left-wing thought leader or something. I just appreciate the fact that she's out here spilling the fucking tea and embarrassing the hell out of Elon Musk, who, yes, she's the baby mama of one of his kids, which is pretty wild. But that is
My bad. All right. So what I was saying is like, yeah, Elon Musk has 13 kids with 13 baby mamas, and he gets a pass for that because he pays the bills. And we can, as a society, say it's like, okay, well, at least he pays the bills. That's good on him. But for people who have seen children grow up, raising a kid is more than just paying the bills. Like having a child, there's more responsibility than just paying the bills. That's like bare minimum. That's like, hey, this little person can't take care of himself, so you have to make sure they're taken care of. You gotta feed them, and provide a shelter for them. It's bare minimum. Feed them, provide shelter with them. Okay, you can do that with a paycheck. Okay, but then raising that child into a citizen of society, a good citizen of society, that takes time and presence. You can be poor and raise a good child, okay? One of the reasons why I am so pro-immigrant, so fuck Trump and fuck ICE and all that, my best friend's family, his parents came here illegally, had the children here, reported to the government, told them we came here illegally, we want to be legal, paid taxes, worked, waited to get their green card, now they have their green cards, all that stuff, lived very poor life, okay? It was it's five of them in the family in a 2-bedroom condo. Okay, and condo is being generous. It's more like a 2-bedroom, 1-floor apartment with a backyard. Okay, they live there. I think they still live there actually. But my best friend and his brother shared bedrooms until he moved out when he was like 1920. You know, they they didn't have much, but they made sure they shared what they had. His mother has fed me. She's like my third mom. More times than I count. Like anytime I see her, it's Daniel, Mrs. Ubi, like hugs, kisses, like just a good woman, a good mother. His dad, just hard worker, really nice guy, wants to be everybody's fucking friend. Poor financially, not anymore. You know, their kids are taken care of, and they both, you know, now that both can work with their green cards, like they're definitely better off than they were. But grew up poor as shit, just like us. But raised two great men, because they were fucking presents. They were presents, and they wanted their children to be good people. Okay. Elon just I mean, if I was him, I would definitely be fucking baddies too. Like, but I would not be having kids with them. There is she talks about it, just like we need to repopulate the earth. Like, well, it's okay. Yeah. Back up. Yeah. Now, there is a reason why Elon wants to just spread his seed wherever. He is a white supremacist. His grandfather was a Nazi. They immigrated to apartheid South Africa, and Elon lived under and his family lived under a apartheid segregated South Africa. So like he was raised in a society and household that believed that they were superior to especially black people. So he wants to spread white power everywhere. He wants more people that look like him in this world. So if he can accomplish that by just having kids and them having more kids, you know, that's where his goal is. Yeah. So that's what he is like. But I mean, I guess I speak, and he still has his father. His father was in his life his whole time. Like that's so crazy for me, because for me, when my dad left us when I was 16, definitely more devastating than I admitted at the time. The whole world crashed. Lost the house. Like my mom kicked me out because I reminded her of my dad. Like definitely sent us down a terrible gave us some terrible times. But that just made my secured my pillar of promise to myself, like to not have a kid young and not be able to be in that kid's life. And that's why I pull out and use condoms at the same time. But yeah, Elon had a present father, and he's like, you know what? Fuck it. They don't need a present father. They just need money. Give them money. They'll succeed. Maybe they won't. I don't really care.
Relevant
I'm too busy destroying the world.
in regards to this clip.
What is this?
This is a hoodie.
You got me a hoodie.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put this down here. Oh God, what's gonna be this is gonna be. Let's see.
You ready? Are you ready, chat?
Oh God. Oh no. I'm not even gonna see it first. Chat's gonna see it before I do.
I've been sent by Benjamin Netanyahu's Twitter account ban.
This is
See, and this is what I was talking about. And what she said right there is like, I've been sent by Bibi Netanyahu to get his Twitter banned. So she's inferring to like, oh, now that he sees you wearing this, Elon's gonna ban your Twitter because Elon controls Twitter. It's super funny on her part. See, like she got jokes too. Really pretty smile. Damn, like I got a little crush. I'm not gonna lie. Not the stepdad. The dad has stepped up. If that's my role in life, if that's what God hasn't planned for me, the last woman I dated seriously was a single mom. We dated for 6 months. I was like, okay, like I paid for the fucking, I paid for the kid's birthday party, some of it, anyways. I was like, yeah, all right. Like I gotta prepare. Like I gotta step the fuck up. I gotta be a role model for this kid. But in my head, I'm like, I can do that. Like I have plenty of role model fathers to emulate. My dad wasn't always bad, and just doing what I'm doing here, just watching other men and boys level up like I did. It's like, yeah, I could definitely help this kid level up, and he'll become a successful and productive, good citizen in this world. I was ready to move her to Arizona, where she could get a better support system than what she had here. But it just wasn't meant to be. And I can understand why. Like, I was definitely raised differently than hers. I was definitely raised more disciplined, more yelling, more aggressive type of parenting for sure. No gentle parenting from my parents. No, no, no. But and I think that side of me came out more often than she liked. I 100% get that. It's like, yeah, it's not something that I'm not like that all the time. But when you get to a certain point, then yeah, like I have a very powerful voice. I have very strong opinions, and when my feelings or my boundaries are crossed, then she's not the only one who's like, oh, like Anna, all the time is like, don't talk to me that way. It's like, don't be rude. My sisters and me, like we all have that same type of tone and kind of like disciplinary voice in us. So when it's used on each other, it's like, ew, like who the fuck do you think you are? Like I know you're not screaming at me. I know you're not cussing at me. Like what the fuck? So I definitely get it and understand why it could have been too much for her. But I'm not done growing. She's definitely not done growing. We could have grown together. We could have fixed each other's faults, yin and yang. She could have softened me up, and I could definitely help her live a better, disciplined life so she could accomplish her goals in life. But yeah, we didn't get there. And that's okay because there's other single moms out here like Ashley St. Clair who needs a man like me in her life.
Oh my god. What is
This
this?
So
Yeah.
has Hassan actually kicked it with the kid too? Like, did she
I
bring
don't
the
think
baby?
so.
Like, that would be crazy. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I mean, this is funny. I like it because it gets under Elon Musk's skin. I don't really take it too seriously, right? I think it's funny to troll Elon Musk. He is so fucking hyper online, and he's so fragile and just genuinely pathetic. That seeing this woman who I don't even think he actually has sex, right? We've talked about this. He does that like
No, he definitely has sex, but supposedly something happened with his dick because he wanted it to get like a enlarged dick or a robot dick or something like that, and so maybe he's sterile now, something along those lines. But no, like what they're saying is this. That's why I think that Elon said something to Trump to get the subpoena going for Cuba, or to go forward with the subpoena on Hassan for Cuba, is because this was all over Twitter. It's probably trending on Twitter at one point, and a man with a fragile ego like Elon, he's definitely looking for some sort of revenge on Hassan.
like
Yeah.
that like in vitro fertilization shit where he like comes in a cup and then it like puts it in their body because he's like
turkey
a weird
baster.
freak. Yeah. So anyway, no shade on anybody who has to do that because that's like the only way to get pregnant. I just think it's a little bit strange that he has an obsession with impregnating women in that
It
particular
is
fashion.
fucking weird, bro.
So
He
anyway,
must have a weird, like, mangled penis,
Oh,
like
dude.
Epstein and Harvey Weinstein did.
yeah.
He has to have like some weird, like, egg penis or fucking mangled, fucking weird dick. Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on with
Yeah.
that? It's just so weird. You think like I don't know. I don't want to speculate too much about it, but either way,
I actually first found out about Elon Musk in 7th grade when my friend and I Googled world's smallest penis, and there he was.
yeah. So I think there was was it Elon Musk that people were alleging he had like a botched dick enlargement surgery or something?
Oh gosh, I didn't know. It doesn't Harvey Weinstein also have a really fucked up dick? That's
He has
another-
he has a fucked up dick. So does Epstein. But I'm pretty sure someone was saying that Elon Musk like got a botched penile.
Honestly, it's more. It's not out the realm of possibility just because, yes, men and boys do weird things with their dick and try to upgrade it. Like, I've also definitely thought about buying like those enlarge pills on Pornhub. You're watching a porno and the ads on the side is like, oh, get huge in just 60 days or whatever. But fortunately for me, and I guess thanks to my dad, I don't really have to worry about that. Like, definitely women like the size of my penis. So as long as they like it, I'm happy. And yeah, I'm happy with how it looks and stuff like that. We went to high school with a kid who had a fucked up looking dick because he tried to circumcise himself. Imagine? Oh my Jesus! And this was a 100% true story. Like, I knew a couple of women who were like, "Yeah, I've seen his dick. It's a little fucked up, but whatever."
Enlargement surgery or something like that, which is hilarious.
I never thought I would type in Elon Musk boss penis surgery.
Yeah, don't look at images.
Yeah, breaking down rumors that Elon Musk has a penis implant. Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And maybe if it was botched, that could be why he has to go about, impregnating women the way that he does. And it also just explains, like, we've always talked about how, like, a lot of times fascists have, like, weird issues with not being able to get laid, or, like, they're kind of taking out the resentment on women by just, like, being a fascist dictator. It kind of checks out, if Elon, like, had his manhood butchered, and then that coincides with his, like, weird turn to the fucking dark side and just becoming, like, the worst person in the world, like a literal super villain. I mean, it totally checks out. Grimes told me this too. And by the way, come on, Grimes. Like Ashley St. Clair's out here spilling all this tea, going on the warpath. I want to see more of that from Grimes. Whatever happened to you, Grimes? Like, remember she was like Elon's like original fucking girlfriend.
Yeah, they would go to like Burning Man together and trip
Yeah.
acid or something. I guess ketamine is what Elon's into. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, guys. I have to come out hard in the paint. I really do not fuck with all of this like implant culture,
Fuck
this like
no.
prosthetic culture. I just think human beings should look like themselves. I'm sorry if that makes me like a right-wing dad-coded individual. Like I have things about myself that make me insecure. I think everybody has things about themselves that makes them insecure. I really, really fret about a future where everybody is just like, I have to fix every little thing about myself that I don't find like perfect. But I do think, with all that being said, I have a lot of tremendous empathy for people who go through this. If you get a penis implant surgery and you're not trans and you're not going through like something unimaginably horrible, like it got
Yeah,
burned off
obviously.
in a fire, yeah, you probably deserve to have it be botched. If you are a billionaire asshole who just wants his dick to be like 4 inches longer, go fuck yourself. Like you deserve to have a botched surgery.
Yeah. No, it really is. It is completely fucking ridiculous. But either way,
There are women out there who prefer a smaller dick. There are women, probably men too. I don't know. I'm not in that community. And there are definitely men with micro penises who have wives and significant others. Like, bro, their head game is on point, or they use toys. Like, whatever. The point is, yeah, like body positivity. It's like, hey, even though it's a lot smaller than everybody else's, I still love you, or I will make it work, or you're a great person. Okay. In Elon's case, I guess, yeah, um, because he's a shit person and a white supremacist. I could definitely see like him being feeling inferior and wanting to get a penis implant. Like, but honestly, bro, if that's what you want to do with your body, that's fine. Like, we, it's all. I definitely find taking shots at him and stuff, but I don't want to stoop to his level on something I actually don't see a problem with. Like, especially if it worked for you. It's like, oh shit, like you got a penis enlargement and it worked. It's like, great, like awesome. My cousin literally sold penis pumps. Like, it was kind of weird how he just like kept telling all my friends too. He's like, oh yeah, like, cause he has two jobs. He had two jobs, and I'm like, you could have just said like, oh, I do this, and then, cause he was telling the first job, and then he's like, oh, and then like I also sell penis pumps on the side, and I help with erectile dysfunction. I'm just like, help with like giving old men handjobs? Like what? But hey, whatever. Make your money, and for those men, I hope it actually works, cause it would really suck to have a disappointing penis, I guess.
there's a couple other pretty funny clips from this exchange that we can react to, including this one.
I
I'm
think I'm
interested to
playing
get your
more of it.
opinion on this, Zach. Before we watch the clip, we can introduce everyone to the story. I'm sure you guys have heard about this. You know, they talked about it on Breaking Points. They talked about it on Crystal Kyle and Friends. But this is absolutely wild. And not even an allegation. She provided the receipts of the text messages.
Okay. This part right here. This part right here, she's already said it before. It's just, and we've speculated this from um, November when Trump won, that Elon Musk, some way, somehow, rigged the election. Okay? Now, the problem with that is our elections are so secure. That's the problem. It's like the process of voting and then tabulating the votes is very, very secure, monitored, and um, regulated, like physically. Like here in Texas, in Austin, you vote on a computer. It prints out your, you get your voter ticket thing, ballot. You put it in the system. System reads who you are, and then you go through, enter your choices, and then it prints out your choices on the ballot. Then you take it from that computer, and then you put it into their counting computer, like an ATM. Like you put your ballot on there, and the machine takes your ballot and it's locked away. Boom, done. Those ballots are then put in a locked secure, I don't know, briefcase or whatever, and then taken somewhere to count. All right. At no point in the process could you be physically present enough in so many states to alter ballots or counting. Okay, especially when they're counting. I think they're recorded the entire time when they're counting. However, and these computers, these counting machines, they're not connected to outside networks. Okay, there's no reason for them to be connected to outside networks. Okay. So physically having an operative or having multiple operatives in multiple states affecting the vote count or changing votes is like 0.01%, maybe 1% chance he was actually able to do that, okay? But then, if you take into account Starlink, if you take into account the power to digitally send information to receivers or computers down here in the United States, he does have that capacity, okay? But is the technology, I'm going to ask Gemini, is the technology able to like force its way into a system and change votes? Maybe. The way he was talking about it, he's like, yeah, I did something. I affected something, and or he's talking about himself. Okay.
So this is 100% accurate. Whether or not Elon was telling the truth, that's up for debate. But Elon Musk's ex, Ashley Sinclair, claims he used space technology in 2024 election. He's using the Death Star, bro. He's got a fucking Death Star up there. So yeah, she claimed that he uses his space technology during the 2024 election. In October, Elon tells me that he's ready to release, in his words, an anomaly in the Matrix. And I'm like, oh, what's that? Or who's that? And he says that he has 10,000 lasers in space, referencing his satellites. Ashley Sinclair, shared that she was rather uncomfortable with Musk, and what he was allegedly insinuating at the time. He keeps going and says, "This is not a piece they'll see on the chessboard." So that's pretty interesting. And she said, "I'm like, how the fuck do you have this sort of data?" So that's pretty.
Literally, she said this before. I'm surprised they don't remember her saying this stuff. Maybe it's because like I followed her on Twitter because she's really pretty. But yeah, she said this like right after like the breakup started, and definitely added fuel to my conspiracy fire that he rigged the election for Trump. Um, I just don't know, man. I think. Well, I think we're going to find out. I think once Trump is out of office, we are going to find out some of the terrible fucking things that they did.
Interesting.
Like,
And
like we're going to have movies and TV shows on the depravity of this time for years to come. Like this is gonna be a whole ass section in a history book one day.
it does kind of check out with some of the other stories and rumors that we heard. Obviously, there was that clip of, I think it was Joe Rogan, being like, Elon knew before anyone else. Like he had the data all there, like it was all ready to go. He walked up and got left the party an hour before the fucking results were even in, because he's just like has all this technology at his available to him. So
Can we have the text? Can we just like read the text?
well, she said this on air, and then I was watching the Breaking Point segment, and Ryan Grimm says that they reached out behind the scenes to independently verify the text, and they did receive them.
Okay.
So the texts are real.
Yeah.
From Elon
Yeah,
Musk to
definitely.
Ashley Sinclair. That is not up for debate unless Ryan Grimm is
No,
lying.
I trust Ryan.
Yeah.
I was just like, for
And another reason why I think Ashley Sinclair is a good person who just got caught up with the wrong crowd. She was offered an NDA to, just take, I think she said $40 million and just shut the fuck up. And she was like, no. Like, I've seen the way you all are behind closed doors. I've seen what path you've put forth for this country, or the path that you want this country to follow, and it's more important to me to speak out than it is to take a $40 million check and not say anything. So that's awesome. I think that gives her more credibility in my book.
for like posterity's sake, I just wanted to be like, does somebody have these like some? Okay, so people have seen them, right?
Yeah,
that
yeah.
makes sense. And it is crazy, right? I guess my initial reaction would be to say it's not impossible that he.
Like she's posted all this stuff before, but I think she had to delete some of her tweets because it turned into not a custody battle, because he doesn't want custody of the child, but a fight in court over how much he's paying in child support. Like it was a child support battle that she had to delete these tweets.
He was bullshitting to impress this chick that's 27 and hot, or 26 and hot, and that he wants to impregnate with another one of his like alien parasite children. But I also think
Those are some of the texts that she leaked before before this, or before the child support battle, was like, yeah, like not only did this freak like knock me up to try to spread his seed everywhere, like right after I had our baby, yeah, he was like, yeah, I want to get you pregnant again. It's like, bro, like sex without getting a woman pregnant is pretty awesome too. Like I've personally never had sex where I got a woman pregnant. So I don't have a frame of reference, but sex and then 3 months later, no baby, pretty good, pretty fucking
Because
good.
he said it, and because we have proof of him saying it, and because he donated more money than anyone else to our president, like there needs to be an investigation. In any sane
Fuck yeah.
country, there needs to be an investigation. Look, I believe in election integrity, and I also believe that we shouldn't really fucking go after, oh, this is like, and election denialism isn't usually a winner, right? We watched what happened for Donald Trump after in 2020. He did
That's
all
another
election
thing.
denialism, he lost, right? Well, he
That's
came back and
another
won
thing.
eventually, but
Yeah,
you
I
know,
understand.
yeah, he had a really bad midterms after that. And
You're saying we shouldn't do a lib January 6th?
no, I don't think we should do that. But I do think that once again, we've talked about the midterms a lot. We've talked.
I don't know about that, but is there a way we could review Starlink's data to see if in November they targeted certain states? Like, is that something that we could take a look into? That seems fair. I mean, the Republican Party in 2020 thought the voting machines were rigged, and so much so that they defamed the company that owned them, and then ended up owing them lots of fucking money. If I was, oh fuck, Smartmatic, I think the name was. If I was them, I would have sued every Republican who fucking said that they cheated. Oh, that would have been good. Not just Fox and shit.
Talk about the blue wave, probably ad nauseum, probably too much for many people who listen to our show, but it's a reminder that that's the kind of thing that you can really investigate when you are a majority in the Senate and you are a majority in the House. And I think people deserve to know more about that if we've caught this man confessing, right? Imagine for a moment that there was a text message, I swear to God, a literal text message from George Soros to some like hot chick that goes on the Son Piker show and says, "Don't worry, guys, we were able to rig it for Joe Biden." Do you not think that the fucking Republicans would be losing their minds about that shit? It would have been more credible evidence than they ever fucking had for the 2020 rigged election thing, which Tucker Carlson promoted on his show, which Fox News got sued into oblivion by Dominion voting machines because of, right? All of that shit, they didn't even have a kernel of what we have right here. So I do think it's fair to say we have to investigate it, even though I will concede there's a chance he was just talking shit to make himself look cooler than he was.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a very high chance that he was talking shit. But again, I'm not even really like familiar with like how space lasers, like what the space lasers zap the voting machines and put more votes in for Donald Trump. Like I don't even really understand how the Starlink satellites would have any role in that. But obviously, Elon Musk knows all these hacker kids. Remember all those Doge idiots like Big Balls and stuff. So who knows? Maybe he had some hackers going to work. Maybe he was paying off Dominion or whatever these voting machines. I don't fucking know. It's just endless speculation. It does get into the blue anon slop, as someone put in chat earlier, undeniably. But still, the fact that these text messages exist, I think, puts it beyond that category of just blue anon slop. This is like something that we have to take very seriously. And even Sinclair seems to have acknowledged that at the time in these text messages. After he lets this slip, she literally says like, "I'm not going to ask any more questions because I don't want to get dragged in front of Congress at some point, LOL." And Elon Musk responded like, "Probably wise," with a laughing emoji. So even they were like acknowledging at the time that this was some shady, illegal shit that was being referenced. So it is a very bizarre, it's very disturbing story. It's just one of those things where you're like, God damn it, the fucking oligarchs, the elites have so much fucking control over us that we don't even know. And it's just terrifying to think about all these fucking space lasers and satellites. Like what if...
And as a more recent um, incident that we could look to, Thomas Massey, Republican from Kentucky, speaking out against the Epstein, against the Iran war, um, but still Republican as fuck. Like, I would never vote for the man, but I support the man because he's stood up to Trump and the Republican Party. He was for re-election this year, coming November. In his primary, voting turnout doubled, went from like I think like 75,000 voting to 150,000. But I think that's more because more people are motivated. And he lost by like 10,000 mail-in votes at the end or something like that. And it's like super suspicious, just like the turnout and for how unpopular Trump is and how popular Massey is for standing up to Trump. It's like, damn, is it really like 10,000 more people than that support Trump? Is that where we're at? I don't think we are. I think we're beyond that. It's like a year in, year and a half in, and motherfuckers costing everybody more money. So,
If you wanted to use them against us, you know what I'm saying? It's absolutely horrifying to think about, specifically given how integrated Starlink is with the United States military, right? Like he can actually
That's where it's really fucking scary.
he can exert that control. Yeah, it's really fucking wild. But let's check out the video itself from Hassan's live stream where they discuss this exact subject matter.
Wait, why does he actually talks like this?
Yes, he actually talks like this, and I wasn't being hyperbolic when I said.
Can I read this
Yes,
one?
you can read the whole thing.
Okay.
You can read everything except my picking.
Okay, I'm feeling more optimistic after tonight. And tomorrow we unleash the anomaly in the Matrix. And then this is not something on the chessboard, so they will be quite surprised. In air quotes, lasers from space. What? And
see, that's what too specific. That's like too specific to not look into. Like they said, like if that was a Democrat, like if that was George Soros or like what rich fucking Democrats are there? I think maybe like Warren Buffett, or if that was a Chinese billionaire saying that, we would have full investigations into the possibility of our voting machines being hacked by satellites in space. Like, just see if it's possible, see if there's any data that we can pull and review to, confirm that they are not able to do that. Like, that's for how involved Elon was with this, with the presidential election, with literally the money, power, and hardware, satellites to do it. It's like, yo, how do we not take a look at this?
you made a joke, and
It was a Marjorie Taylor Greene joke.
yeah, you made a Jewish space laser joke,
Or is it finally a focus on the Jewish vote?
and he laughed at it, and then I have over 10,000 lasers in space right
So he
now.
doubles down and says and quantifies his number of
See?
spaces. So he did say that something.
And it's not like this again. I don't want to sound like a crazy person, and this is what's fucked up about this, because the Republicans made themselves so fucking, lunatic. They made themselves such fucking lunatics. They made themselves so crazy and unserious, and they were going down this rabbit hole of election rigging. I'm not saying the election was rigged, right? But what I'm saying is that Elon Musk is bragging about this.
But this is what also I've said too when I was like deep into this conspiracy thing. When it first came out, I was like, yeah, Elon fucking rigged the election. Um, I said this before. I was like, what if this was the goal of, denying the 2020 election? What if this was the goal just to stop us from looking too closely at the 2024 election? What if it's the goal so this 2026 election is not scrutinized, or we don't want to seem like the kooks on the right who are saying the 2020 election was rigged? Um, and so when it really happens, we like, oh yeah, we're not gonna entertain that idea. It's like, yeah, good.
And he does get hundreds of millions, billions in dollars in U.S. contracts, right? Government contracts. The reason you look at Elon Musk and you're like, holy shit, he's about to be on track to make $1 trillion. Yeah, he didn't earn that fucking money. Do you think you see like every car on the road is a goddamn Tesla? No. What is he doing? He's getting government subsidies. He's basically the world's richest socialist, right? He takes all this money from the government and they inflate his wealth so that he does put those fucking lasers in space. And do you think they're doing that shit to be harmless? Because they want to learn about the stars. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm sorry I sound like a nutcase. I'm sorry I sound like a guy that's recording in his mom's basement with tinfoil over his head. That's what the world has done to people like me and Gavin. That's what they forced us to do. We're the serious ones. We're the ones that are like, guys, you know what? I don't think that's a real conspiracy theory. I think we got to be real on that. Like, we were the first show out here. I was telling you from jump. I was like, Candace Owens is full of shit. Don't listen to anybody that takes her seriously, right? We don't fall for that shit. But when you have the man who contributed the most money to Donald Trump's campaign, the richest man in the world saying this, and a man who became the richest man in the world thanks to all of his government fucking sponsorships, basically, but his government investments, his government contracts, whatever you want to call them, that's how he made all of his bread. And if he's saying like, oh yeah, I rigged it so that the guy who would give me the most contract money won, that's a fucking crime that he's confessing to. Yeah. And there needs to be an investigation into that. This is not Joe Schmo on the internet saying this. This is a man who has a lot of power and who ended up working for the Donald Trump regime in the early stages. He hailed in front of everybody. We remember that.
Yep. And extracted a shit ton of data illegally from the government, from the taxpayers like us. You know, what do you think that data went to? He's out here building his stupid fucking AI, poisoning the city of Memphis with his disgusting data.
I went to AI robots, but okay. Here is what AI told me, and I take it with a grain of salt because could be they're all the tech oligarchs are all working together. There are some things that AI chatbots will not let you ask them. Like here, I said I cannot analyze the vulnerability or the possibility of hacking specific targets, including the voting systems used in the 2024 presidential election or specific primary races like Thomas Massey. Okay, so it was like, yeah, it's against their code to analyze that stuff. But it kind of reinforced what I said earlier, is that standard cybersecurity doctrine for highly sensitive critical infrastructure, including vote counting machines and election tabulators, mandates strict physical and logical isolation known as air gapping. Definition: an air gap system lacks the hardware or software interface required to connect to unsecure networks. It does not utilize Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or Ethernet connections that bridge to the public internet. Okay. security posture. Because an air gap machine is completely isolated from the internet, a remote threat actor cannot reach it, regardless of whether the attacker is using Starlink, terrestrial, broadband, or any other connection method. The transport layer simply cannot route packets to a disconnected endpoint. Okay, it's fair. It kind of makes sense. Um, I would put a little caveat on this: is there is human error. Okay, human error definitely can attribute to. I think there was an election where the like Secretary of State or their employees were, or maybe it was somebody smaller down the line, like a county supervisor or something like that, and they were connecting the voting system to um, the internet. And but once people found out about that, like they stopped it, and um, yeah, everybody was on notice. Like, yeah, even though you should already know this, we're gonna reinforce it. Uh, these voting machines and tabulators, they need to be air gapped. They need to not be connected to anything, and nothing ever connected to them. So, what we could infer, since, you know, the technology supposedly isn't there, what we could infer is he did use his space lasers to connect to vulnerable networks and Wi-Fi, and pumped right-wing messaging to people that maybe like don't normally vote, or we're gonna stay home, or um, got the white supremacists fired up. You know, maybe that's more what we're looking at, is like him using Starlink, using those space lasers to influence people who are not on secure networks, because that's what he does on Twitter, especially during the run up to the election. Like, all algorithms for your social media, it's the algorithms are built to keep you watching, swiping, liking, sharing, all that stuff. They want you to keep going, keep going. So they want to keep showing you things you like. So if you like something, you comment on something, you repost it, then they're going to give you more of that. Okay? Well, he would, on a regular basis, change the algorithm so that you would get a bunch of right-wing supporters and tweets instead of what you normally like. He still does it. He did a switch, I think last night. Yeah, last night or the night before. Yeah, it was last night. And all of a sudden I have Lindsey Graham on my feed, and I'm like, yeah, no, what the fuck? Why would we have it? So, I think maybe we could definitely. That is more likely of what happened than him hacking the voting machines with his lasers. Yeah, I can accept that. I can feel like that. Cuz the Democrats know what happened. Like, they deny it as a organization. but the people and the now leaders of the Democratic Party know is because Kamala supported Israel and not Palestine. And that made people stay at home and not vote. Like we had 90 million people, 90 million, I don't know if they were registered voters or eligible voters. 90 million eligible voters stayed home and did not vote. Kamala, how much did Kamala lose by? Votes did Kamala lose by? This is so weird. Just give me a fucking number, bro. See? See, bro? AI should be just giving me a straight number numerical answer. But I can't look at this. Hold on. Let me go to my Gemini Pro. What the fuck? How many votes did Kamala? Oh, bro. If Kamala Harris was president right now, I would not be streaming. Oh, my life would be so fucking good if Kamala Harris was president right now. How many votes did Kamala Harris? To Trump. That's crazy.
Center. He wants that data, and he got it. And it seems like the quid pro quo, at least what Trump thought the quid pro quo was, that he was going to get some help from Elon Musk. You know what I'm saying? So it just seems really fucking disturbing.
Okay. In the presidential election, Kamala Harris received 75,019,682 popular votes, while Donald Trump received 77,304,296 votes. This means Harris lost the popular vote to Trump by 2,284,614 votes. She just needed percentage of 2 of 90 million is 2,284.614. What percentage of 90 million? Oh no. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. She just needed 3% of the 90 million to vote. Oh shit. Okay. Oh god. Oh, that's so sad. She just needed 3% of the people who stood home to go and vote. Yep. Anywho.
Let's hear the last couple seconds of this.
And okay, so in conjunction with that, then he's sending me the internal data from America Pack, where he's like tracking the real-time Delta vote metrics. He has like the cash prizes as incentives. Like it was.
Yeah, it wasn't that illegal. I don't even understand.
That was illegal
how
as
that
fuck.
was just like allowed. But I guess you can do that. If you're a billionaire, you can do that. If you're Israel, you can do that. It's cool. It's great. America is up for sale.
Yeah, pretty crazy. So, you know, I
Wait,
I
why
appreciate
did
her
10
spilling the tea. You don't have to trust this lady, because again, she was a total like MAGA idiot not that fucking long ago. And even in this text message exchange, she's like, "I hope you can help save America, Elon. She doesn't really mention that here for obvious reasons, but literally in the same text message exchange, she's like hyping him up and glazing him, and she's like, I hope you help deliver the victory for America and all this shit. So, I have mixed feelings about Ashley Sinclair. I don't know if we can trust her, but I appreciate that she's spilling the tea. And next, leak the dick pics. We want to see that botched penile implant. Let's leak the dick pics, Ashley.
There are people on the internet that can help you do it safely and covertly and with all the deniability that it would take to beat a
Bro,
case.
no, they can't. Like, he's gonna know who the fuck leaked that shit. Come on now, let's be real.
With your crowd-funded lawyer, Ashley. Yeah, and I did think it was funny. I don't know if you caught it, but when he's like, "Can I read this?" She says, "You can read anything besides my cringy pick-me shit." And I'm imagining that's what she's fucking referencing, where she's like, "I had to be like baby girl kitten to this fucking guy," and like, I'm not talking shit on like this lady's appearance at all, but it is interesting that like a guy that spends all of his time online, like he's into the e-girl looking people, the Grimes, this lady. She has a very specific aesthetic that reminds you of like going to the mall in 2012.
Does she? Is that what her aesthetic is? I don't know.
Oh, I know.
I just see pretty.
Either way, pretty funny stuff. Yeah, it's pretty funny too that this viral humiliation of Elon Musk occurred too, like literally like less than 24 hours before Hassan gets subpoenaed. Like, I don't think there's necessarily a connection there, but it's pretty funny to imagine Elon just like calling up Trump, be like, "Oh, we got to do something about this guy. He's fucking humiliating me and banging my ex."
Yeah, literally.
Look out the door if you hear an ambulance. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there. Beep, 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 beep.
All right,
Dave
so
Rubin,
kind of going more towards I think we're seeing like just the end of the grift, the end of MAGA, the end of I'm hoping the end of the Republican Party as we know it. Like, I don't see a benefit of the Republican Party when they throw out the people who hold them accountable. Like, they want a cult, they don't want a political party. And that's actually why one of the reasons TPUSA's college chapters are, I don't think they're closing, but people are resigning, quitting, and coming out against TPUSA because, you know, they went from being a free speech, nuclear family, anti-abortion organization to whatever makes us money and keep the grift going, and Israel, pro-Israel, that shit.
obviously formerly
gotta-
of the Young
I gotta
Turks.
like
I
him.
wasn't super familiar with him on the Young Turks, but we just got a super chat about him the other day, and like a real fiery burst out that he had
Over Israel, yeah.
over Israel, right? And you know what? I gotta say, maybe we were too harsh on the guy's foreign policy acumen, right? We're gonna watch a 2-minute and 19-second video of him really educating the American people, really giving everybody a heads up. And it's just remarkable the acumen that this guy has for foreign policy, the instincts to get it right. You know, Gavin and I, we do our best. I like to think I shoot about 90% from the free throw line, but this Dave Rubin guy, I mean, there's no comparison to the kind of coverage that I'd ever be able to give.
Yeah, let's hear some classical liberal analysis. I'm very excited to digest this.
So allow me to make a prediction here in my prediction stuff. I'm not polymarket. I'm not call sheet. but I'm pretty good at predictions. And my prediction here is that everything that the media is now going to say about Iran's going to close the Strait of Hormuz and energy prices are going to go crazy and all these, none of this is going to come to pass. Gas prices are coming down and will continue to come down. If the United States wants to keep the Strait of Hormuz open, which it does, and Donald Trump said we'll escort ships through if we have to, it's going to stay open. This is the leader of the Iranian opposition. He has been in exile. His name is Reza Pahlavi. We have shown you videos of him before. He's the eldest son of the former Shah of Iran, and he likely is the next leader of Iran. This is the guy that, by all accounts, when this war ends, will go in and he will be the leader. And again, it will be.
And this was the same line that they were going with on PBD. Guys, it's a clinical. We've gotten rid of the leader of Iran. He's gone. He has a son. He wants to negotiate with us. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be cinched up, just like Venezuela, right? That's what they were all saying months ago as we're still in a fucking hot war with Iran.
Right.
Different. Just remember, it sounds like the Kurds are starting to enter the country with arms to help the people take out the last vestiges of the IRGC. There's a lot of good things happening. This is Iranians, and you can hear they are chanting Bibi June, Bibi Netanyahu. In Iran, they are chanting praise
Was that
for Benjamin
I bet that was
Netanyahu.
like an AI video.
Deep
I guess it's from Haaretz. Oh, it's a deep fake. Yeah. I was like, wow, Haaretz did report on it, but no, they're just literally pointing out that it's a fucking deep fake. No shit. Oh my god, so fucking embarrassing, bro. Holy shit. Dave Rubin is just the bottom of the barrel, one of the stupidest motherfuckers. Yeah, I can't believe anyone listens to this guy. Not that he has very much relevance. He's mostly just a lolcow at this point. But yeah, I mean, just what a fucking embarrassment. He literally sounds like Trump's like press secretary, or just one of these idiots that they pay to go on Fox News and defend Trump no matter what's happening.
Totally. And he keeps going. It's crazy.
And when you take out Khomeini and you take out his number 2 and his number 3 and his number 4 and his number 37 and his number 42,
We're taking out 42 people in the chain of Iranian command. Hear that one more time.
and you take out his number 2 and his number 3 and his number 4 and his number 37 and his number 42, then suddenly the next guy's going, it's a little hot in here. And then people start behaving a little bit differently. They've plotted this war, this extraordinary war that will be studied for decades, right? For decades, they will study how this incredible war took place. That we are hitting critical infrastructure. We are damaging the regime, so hopefully the people will be able to take over their countries. Now, the question is, if you're going to hit power plants and you're going to hit civilian infrastructure.
This was when Donald Trump was threatening to nuke Iran. This portion right here is when Donald Trump was threatening to nuke their electric power centers.
Things of that nature. How do you make sure it's not going to harm the people, but just the regime? And when we have a Department of War that is not looking for war, but will perform war, then we are going to do it at the maximum level of competency. I think the way you can look at this, I haven't heard anyone else say this, but this seems to me to be the war to end all wars.
The war to end all wars. Oh my god. That's so fucking funny.
So that's what they've been up to over on the Rubin Report, right? So if you guys ever have any criticisms of our analysis, you guys might be better served over there. But just absolutely deranged. And if you guys look at Dave Rubin's numbers on YouTube, they're in the absolute shitter right now. In fact, I might have to go ahead and pull it up for everybody. You can see that this does not pay. I have a theory that he is getting some sort of money from an outside source.
Oh, he definitely is. I don't even think that's a theory. That's like he's 100% on the payroll.
Yeah, because he does not get enough views. Like this video clip from the other day got 7,000 fucking views on his channel.
Brutal.
Some of them will, like if you go to like the YouTube page, like he'll get like Stephen A. Smith on and he'll get like some decent views.
It's kind of like the Jillian Michaels thing, who by the way, he's a close friend and collaborator of Jillian Michaels. Sometimes her clips will pop off, but it doesn't seem like she has much of an organic audience.
Yeah, he has a little bit more of an audience, it would seem like, than Jillian Michaels. I'll zoom in so people can see we're being fair. This clip got like 27k views. This got like 37k views. This got like 51k views. So he's
pretty
not
middling.
Like, yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like the David Pakman of the right. Just like at one point he was very relevant, but now it's like just a slow fall off.
Totally. And if he doesn't have a big guest like Stephen A. Smith, like you guys can see the fall off, like 7k views on this video, 7k views on this video. I also wouldn't put it past him to be inflating his view count with bots. one thing that has been really interesting that I've been reading more about, I think we'll bring it up more in depth down the line as it becomes more and more clear. But a lot of people speculating that bots are keeping the Daily Wire afloat, even to the extent that they are now, because it's so public how poorly they're performing. There's like people are seeing a spike in some videos and then like no comments and no thumbs up and anything like that, and everybody's like, hey, this is a pretty clear indicator. Like you said this video got 7 million views, and how come it has 2,000 comments, right? If it's doing the same numbers that the like this music video that also did 7 million views and it has 35,000 comments on it, it's like, well, it's probably unlikely.
There's probably some like data center in Tel Aviv, which is just like dedicated solely to keeping these channels afloat. You know what I'm saying? Just like creating fake accounts to watch their dog shit fucking content. But yeah, so embarrassing. And specifically, I mean, I don't know if it's going to happen or maybe it's already fallen apart by the time that we've gone live, but they were talking about how this deal is very close to being struck with Iran. Trump might actually do this deal and move on, maybe.
Ryan Grimm was saying it looks like it did fall apart.
Okay, yeah, I'm not surprised. We've been through this fucking circus a million times. But as Mike Pompeo points out here, the deal being floated with Iran, of course this is his neocon bullshit perspective, but the deal being floated with Iran seems straight out of the Wendy Sherman, Robert Malley, Ben Rhodes playbook. Pay the IRGC to build a WND program and terrorize the world. Not remotely America first. It's straightforward. Open the damn strait. Deny.
It's such a mischaracterization of any deal that we might strike that involves them getting access to money. It's their fucking money. Okay? It's their money. We've just frozen it or seized it, or like exactly what they're gonna do with Hassan Piker. What they can do to Hassan Piker is like it's sanctioned money or seized assets that we have control of, and Iran wants their fucking money back. Iran wants their assets back. I don't I don't I don't see a reason for the US to try to enforce its will on these other countries. Like, I would love it. Well, I mean, what's her name? Dr. Assad or something. She went to Iran and she walked around without a hijab. Like, Iran has the highest percentage of like female engineers, something like that. Like definitely not as free as women here in the USA. That's for sure. But they are not they're not like controlled and oppressed as the West makes them out to be. Like they definitely. I mean, I didn't think they let them go to school. Like in Afghanistan, the one of the countries we liberated, or we freed from the Taliban and then gave to the Taliban. One of the first things they did was stop girls and women from going to school over the age of like 12 or something like that. So I thought they had similar rules to them to that. Come to find out, no, they actually have women in universities and they become engineers. I think that's badass. I think that's pretty cool. Um, so yeah, okay, not the greatest country in the world. Okay, that's supposed to be us. So we need to keep that title, not them. But it's not a country that is so terrible to its people, to its neighbors, to the world that we need to take their money, send our military, and bomb. Okay? Um, even looking at it from a well, I mean, looking at it from like a religious or Catholic um, lens, we are, anti-murder. Like, thou shall not kill. That's like pretty black and white. However, we do have, so that's one reason to be against the war. Okay. But we also have a just war doctrine. And the just war doctrine outlines reasons for us to actually be involved in a war. And Catholics specifically. One of those reasons, or part of the reasons, or the requirements for Catholics to call it a just war and to, go ahead and fight in the war and not be afraid to, murder someone and commit a cardinal sin and, spend your life in hell, is that it has to be a war that's fought to save more lives than it is to take. And that's just not happening in Iran. A just war would be if we went into Gaza or into Lebanon and protected them from Israel. Like literally, let's see. I don't care about Gemini. No. Let's pull it up. War doctrine Catholic. Okay. I don't want the AI overview. Teaching peace. Just war theory. Saint Augustine, which he definitely had some good things, but he definitely had some bad things to say. Good takes and bad takes. So, and that, just like the Bible and all other books, take the good stuff, and don't follow the bad stuff. But I think this kind of is one of the better things he said. St. Augustine wrote, "The commandment forbidding killing was not broken by those who have waged wars on the authority of God." See that right there? That definitely is is a mischaracterization of what I think God and Jesus, told us. Turn the other cheek, love your enemy, blah blah blah. Jesus didn't fight his captors or didn't fight being crucified. He said, "Okay, no, I'm going to do this because I love you all." St. Thomas went further by actually laying out 3 conditions of a just war. Okay, so yeah, all right. St. Augustine started it, but St. Thomas actually put some parameters into it because it needs some parameters. Because if you just say the commandment forbidding killing was not broken by those who waged wars on the authority of God. It's like, okay, like I'm gonna go kill them on the authority of God. That's basically what um, uh, Islamophobes say about uh, Muslim people. It's like, oh yeah, it's for them killing an infidel is not a sin or not against their religion. Um, and I think that is just one person in the Quran who says that. But the rest of the Quran is not like that. Um, so St. Thomas went further by actually laying out three conditions of a just war. He stated that a war needed to be fought for a just case, waged by a proper authority, and done with the right intentions. Okay? In summary, for a just war theory, the Catechism of Catholic Church states at one and the same time, the damage inflicted by the aggressor or the nation or community of nations must be lasting, grave, and certain. Gaza, Lebanon. All other means of putting an end to it must have been shown to be impractical or ineffective. Like, they're still being murdered and massacred in Gaza and Lebanon despite having a ceasefire, despite having a blockade, despite multiple nations around the world condemning Israel and what they're doing to those two countries. There must be serious prospects of success. I mean, we don't have to invade Israel. I don't think that needs to happen for the just war. No. But if we could just create a buffer zone between Israel and Lebanon and Gaza, if we could just create that buffer zone and get Israel to stop murdering and massacring the people there, or stop bombing them, stop trying to expand their territory, I feel like that's the odds of that is being pretty successful, because Israel doesn't want to start a war with us. The use of arms must not produce evils and disorders graver than the evil to be eliminated. The power of modern means of destruction weighs very heavily on evaluating this condition. See? Like, I'm not even saying that we attack Israel. I'm saying we just put our troops in between theirs and tell them to go back to their side of the border and don't let them bomb. Don't let them bomb Gaza and Lebanon anymore. Like, we don't have to take any Israeli lives. I would prefer it if nobody in the Middle East in this conflict, and my my fucking religion prefers it too. But according to my religion, what we're doing in Iran is not a just war. If we were doing what we were doing to Iran, to Israel, maybe. But that last point is very valid, and I think probably needs to be talked about more as Catholics. Is that you whatever you're doing in the war can't create more evil and destruction than what you're supposed to be stopping. Like, yeah, we did all the evil in this war. We killed grade school children in Iran, so that we're definitely doing that.
Iran access to money. take out enough Iranian capability so it cannot threaten our allies in the region. It's like, what do you think we've been trying to fucking do, bro? It's not working. It's literally not working. And obviously, he's a neocon. He wants endless war, yada, yada, yada. But there is a grain of truth to this, which is that when the deal eventually is struck, because eventually it'll have to be struck, unless Trump literally wants to authorize a straight up ground invasion, or a nuclear fucking detonation or something. Yeah, this is what's going to happen. It's gonna end up with Iran in a better position than when the war started. They will have, they will have asserted this control over the Strait of Hormuz, which they previously did not have. And that's just such a massive fucking L for the United States. No matter what bullshit promise we get them to agree to on nuclear weapons, the Strait of Hormuz is really the issue here. And yeah, it's literally going to put them in a better position than they were in before the war. And obviously, whatever deal does go through, it's going to be a worse deal than the one Obama got.
Oh, totally. I mean, guys, I'm not even LARPing here. We, on this podcast, right, years and years ago, right, we're fucking, wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, hardcore leftist, pissed off at the world. We've got a bone to pick with everyone. And I'm out here and I'm saying, guys, I'm voting for Joe Biden after he just rat-fucked Bernie Sanders with his old pal Barack Obama because I think there's a chance he would re-enter the Iran deal. I'm not fucking with you. Pull the tape. It is that big of a deal. It is that big of a deal that we have stable, non-hawkish relationships with Iran, right? And then, all of the fucking sanctions that were imposed.
Oh yeah, and intervening in Russia and Ukraine, that would be a just war, according to the Catechism of Catholic Faith. I never voted for Biden. I'm glad I didn't. I wrote in Bernie Sanders' name when in 2016, instead of voting for Hillary because of what happened to Hillary, or what happened to Bernie. I guess it just goes back to, yes, you could make the argument that if you allow them to enrich uranium, that one day they could definitely make a nuclear bomb, and they could definitely one day get or make a missile that could reach the U.S. But I put it to my friend this way, who I was surprised who was pretty pro intervention in with Iran, and he's not a Trump supporter at all. But yeah, when we were talking about it, he had that mentality. He's like, no, we can't let them get a bomb because they might use it on us one day. And I just broke it down to him like this. I was like, okay, let's say they get a bomb. Let's say they get 6 bombs, 10 bombs, okay? And they hit 10 cities in the United States, all right? We have 200, probably more than 300 nuclear weapons in the U.S., okay? What the fuck? I think... Oh. We have more than enough bombs to retaliate against Iran and destroy every city. Like, we could make that country uninhabitable. I think when I researched this before, is that if we did like a full retaliatory strike on Iran, the nuclear fallout would not just affect that country, but it would affect like every country in the Middle East. Like, depending on which way the wind is blowing, it would either go further west, further east, but multiple countries would be negatively affected by it and damn near uninhabitable. Okay, and that's kind of where we got to with Russia. Well, no, that's not kind of. That's exactly what happened when we got to Russia. When we got with the nuclear arms race with Russia. It's like we built up enough nuclear weapons that if one side attacked the other with nuclear bombs, every single bomb sent our way, we would be able to send our every single one of our bombs or missiles their way and guarantee the destruction of each other's country and the world, because the nuclear fallout would be devastating. Like, if you survive the initial attack, you're probably gonna die from the fallout of nuclear exposure. So I can understand they can never have a bomb crowd. I can definitely get that, and you always have to take into account, like, there are evil men in this world, or evil people in this world, and they will do terrible things. And one day in the future, if they have an evil man as leader in Iran, they could decide to drop a nuke somewhere. So, but it's like we already live with countries who have nukes, and they're not doing that because they don't want the destruction and nuclear fallout to their country. I mean, Russia could literally nuke Kiev and Ukraine, and Ukraine doesn't have a way to retaliate. But Russia doesn't want that nuclear fallout. Russia doesn't want that stigma from the rest of the world, that knowing that they just destroyed millions of lives and made an entire city uninhabitable for I don't know, hundreds of years to come. So this yes, we should we have an agreement with them? I don't know. I think we should have good diplomatic ties with every country. Like, every country that's not actively bullying another country, every country that's like not at war or committing genocide. It's like, yeah, every country that just wants to live how they want to live and have good relationships with their neighbors and countries around the globe in this global economy. It's like, yeah, it's like, fuck it. I don't need to take my my niece and my sisters to Iran to vacation, but I also don't need to be spending $2 billion a day just for having our military out there, because maybe one day in 20, 30 years, one of them decides to, or they get a leader that decides to drop a nuke. I'm sorry, like, in this timeline, it's more likely that Israel or Trump drops a nuke somewhere. Definitely not Iran. Specifically because they don't have a fucking nuke.
On Iran, I was hoping that we would alleviate and we would act like adults who were competent, and I really do hold it against Joe Biden for not re-entering the Iran deal. I think it's fair to say he was first spooked by the backlash to him pulling out of Afghanistan, which I was happy to see him do. We gave him lots of credit for that on our show.
Even if he had re-entered it, though, there's a chance Trump would have just pulled out again.
I know.
Yeah,
it's fucked up
that's the
because
thing.
they literally,
That's
after
the
Donald
thing.
Trump's first term, they were continuing to follow, the JCPOA is the
Yep.
official name of the Iran deal. They were continuing to follow the letter of the JCPOA.
Yep.
And they were not enriching any uranium. They were doing all of it because they were like, oh, don't worry. America fucked up. They're not going to reelect Donald Trump. They'll have Joe Biden come in, and then we'll be able to renegotiate something. And we don't want it to make it look like we were doing anything bad because we don't want to go to war with America, right? Donald Trump had extrajudicially assassinated one of their top generals, right? A beloved figure in Iranian politics, Qasem Soleimani, right? We'd watched all of this happen. Joe Biden decides not to get back into the Iran deal, and then, God fucking damn it, the American people re-elect Donald Trump, and he decides to do a literal fucking war with Iran. Again, I remind people, play the fucking tape. We warned you that shit was on the table, right? We warned you that shit was on the table. People said Donald Trump's an anti-war candidate. We said those people are all dirty fucking
But
liars.
Zach, Tulsi Gabbard was selling shirts that said no war with Iran. So I don't know how you could come to that conclusion.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
After he won the election, I kind of fell for it too. And I told you, like, this weekend, I kind of fell for it again. Like, oh, okay, we're finally going to get a deal. Finally going to get a fucking deal, and we don't have to, gas prices will go down. But you have people like the Vanguard just calling balls and strikes. It's like, y'all cannot believe this man. You cannot believe this man. He is more likely than Kamala to get us into an Iran deal, or into a war with Iran. And I didn't believe it. I did not believe it. And then I think it was in June, they destroyed the uranium sites. And I was pretty livid. I was like, fuck, I don't want to be in a war with Iran. War with Iran just makes everything cost more, cost lives, and costs us trillions of dollars in debt. Actually, it's all debt now. Like, everything we do, like, outside of the budget, it's all debt that we're accruing. Close to $40 trillion in debt. But then Iran, notified them about a retaliatory strike beforehand. The strike didn't kill anybody, so they were like, all right, we bombed you, you bombed us, boom, bang, bing, done. So I was like, all right, cool. If this is the worst of it, I'm all right. Let's move on. There's no reason to get into any more wars. Then he invaded Venezuela and took Maduro. And I was like, okay, this is different. This is more imperialistic. This kind of makes you worry about him invading other countries to expand our power. So then you get more rhetoric about invading Greenland, and then Cuba, and then Colombia, and then Epstein files come out. He's mentioned like 38,000 times. His best friend of 10 years is a confirmed child sexual predator, who definitely sold children, girls, and women, and boys apparently, to wealthy, powerful men. And then we were in war with Iran to stop them from getting a nuke. Not that they had a nuke, but to stop them from ever getting a nuke. And here we are 3 months later. Like, wow. So yeah, okay. When they say something, I guess they keep me grounded. They keep me, because I want to be optimistic. Like, I want gas prices to go down. I want to stop spending billions of dollars on our military to just sit and watch boats go by. I want to I want to believe that we can. I know we can. I know we can be friendly with Iran. I know we can work out a deal with people in the Middle East. Uh, we don't have to be military interventionists. We don't have to try to impose our will on the rest of the world. I actually got attacked by, I'm pretty sure he's from Australia or something. Him and his friends. He was attacking this woman on Twitter, and I was defending her and defending the sane Americans. But he's like, all of you Americans are barbarians. All of you are warmongers. All of you are responsible for the killing in Gaza. It's like Democrat, Republican, all you are the same and stuff. I'm like, no, definitely not. Like, definitely not. The people in power, yes, you can say that. And we are complicit in what's happening in Gaza and Lebanon right now, 100%. You could throw that blame our way. But but that's the government and um, our military. That's not the actual people that are calling for, the end to Gaza, or bombing school children. That's definitely not us. But yeah.
Easy. And I didn't mean to rain on your parade immediately. I just caught this tweet from Ryan right before the show, where he says, if these are actually Trump's new terms, does it seem like a deal is very close? And that's in response to this tweet.
Just put me out of my fucking misery. Just sign the deal, admit defeat, move on to Cuba, which you're gonna fucking take over next or whatever. Like, Jesus, it's so fucking annoying how this never ends.
Totally. And yeah, after receiving a briefing from a senior Trump administration official on the status of the Iran negotiations, someone in the know and not just speculating, I can tell you the following: USA is not giving Iranians money for nothing. LOL of the grammar. All speculation and propaganda to the contrary is false. Some hardline elements of the Iran's government, IRGC, have pushed fake stories and propaganda to try and kill this negotiation. Iran deal is not done. 95%, but still haggling over some language. No deal is being signed today. Maybe a few more days before this is done. Who fucking knows if it's another 8 weeks? Like, I wouldn't fucking hold my breath, as Gavin was saying. Iran will not get any money or sanctions relief up front. And this is how you know the deal is a non-starter, right? Because Iran's not opening that goddamn Strait of Hormuz until they start to get money from us for reparations. Because we fucked up a lot of their shit. We've destroyed their infrastructure. Guys, it would be like me saying I am going to go into the nearest shopping mall, take everything that I want, raise it to the ground, and then when the cops are outside, I'm like, you know what, guys, you guys just let me go, and then we'll be even. And it's like, no, dude, that's not what happens when you're a fucking criminal, right? There's consequences for your actions.
Yeah, 100%. And they have the leverage. The Strait of Hormuz is a massive fucking leverage point that apparently Trump didn't realize. Like, it's so fucking stupid. It's just completely ridiculous. One of the most idiotic things I've ever witnessed. No plan. Just fucking get it over with, Trump. Like, you're gonna have to be humiliated and admit defeat and sign this deal at some point. Just get it over with, bro. Midterms are coming up. You want this in your rear view mirror. Take my advice.
I mean, no matter what, he's not going to admit defeat. And that spin, I don't care about. Like, you could go ahead and say you won this war, and just like I don't like that he says that he's stopped eight other wars. I think that's something we should definitely push back on every time. But if he wants to take credit for, I didn't even really hear what Dave Rubin said. Let me see. Yeah, no,
Right, we're
it's
gonna
okay.
watch a 2-minute and 9.
Asmongold, look.
But yeah, if he wants to go ahead and say like, "Oh, I got the greatest deal, the best deal ever. Nobody could have got a deal like this before," it's like, all right, we all know the truth, but go ahead, take this victory lap, take it into the midterms, and run on it. We all know the truth. The truth is, we had to surrender because financially, the entire world, but especially the United States, is hurting, and we just don't need to be murdering and killing people like this. We don't need to be threatening civilizations. We don't need to be killing whole families.
Looking like this, really sat in that dirty room in that dirty chair and
Um, we'll probably not watch the all of this just because um, I hate Asmongold. But yeah, this is kind of bro. You seen the clips of you on Twitch? No. No, I've never looked at them. Dun, 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 dun. What does this say? How do I see it? I didn't know people clipped me. Oh, that's fucked up. Well, oh. They don't. Yeah, I don't really care what they clip. You know, they can clip. Oh shit, might be. They can clip whatever they want. Um, like yeah, they can clip me out of context or whatever. But yeah, I'm just here trying to spread a more positive, better message than what the fucking right wing is. Especially what a better message than what Osmond Gold is saying. So, I mean, they can't clip me saying that I think black people are inferior. Oh, I guess now they can. But Osmond Gold got clipped like that.
agree with the idea that black people are inferior to white people.
No, they are genetically inferior, and socioeconomic conditions are a cope.
They are. It's a fact.
And really, that's just the tip of the iceberg with him.
Is there ending the bloodlines that's necessary? Well, of course it's the right thing to do, but I'm just saying that's the reason why I think it's so aggressive.
At this point, he's displayed a pattern of racism against people of color in general.
You know, like, and I'm gonna be real, like, I would be so brutal to these people, people would say it's too much.
And he regurgitates all the same white supremacist talking points to his audience that are at least white supremacy adjacent that agree with him. Literally, he has so much to say about immigrants in the black community that he's never met or interacted with. Meanwhile, this dude is living in filth. Trash everywhere, roach infested.
Yeah, I'm hoping that when this right wing grift comes to an end, they take Osmond Gold with him. There is a rumor that he does ViewBot, but more so his community is more built off of British and UK right-wing extremists. Like his community is like the Tommy Robinson type of people who want like like white supremacy, end all immigration, you know, make Islam illegal, stuff like that. But if somehow, ideally, what I'm hoping for is that now that they see how terrible the Republican Party is, or how terrible this right-wing ideology of hating minorities or blaming poor people and not helping people is, the isolationist mentality that they come and I guess there's a humanist ideology. I think maybe that might be more morally morally better, I guess, than what the right wing red pill uh, manosphere has been espousing.
Dirty walls, nasty conditions, all while sitting online and acting morally and intellectually superior to everybody else.
Black people can just walk up to NASA or any surgical position and get a job because DEI exists.
But I'm Jew. Welcome to the channel. Please like and share the video. Don't forget to sub. Now, let's get into it.
Meant through DEI and affirmative action at the expense of white and Asian Americans. Socioeconomic conditions is a cope, and everyone knows it.
Yes, correct.
I mean, this is the Elon Musk style. No, they are genetically inferior, and socioeconomic conditions are a cope.
They are. It's a fact.
Hassan just read they are genetically inferior, and this dirtball Asmongold said they are. So it's very clear what he's responding to.
Of course, we're going to be watching this video as well from the Birdman, my goat.
Right.
And he immediately got called out for going full mask off white supremacists. Asmongold has gone full racist mode and dropped whatever mask was left. There wasn't much left, honestly. Asmon Roach telling black people they are genetically inferior. I mean, when you honestly think about it for more than 2 seconds, this unhygienic dirtball saying anybody else is genetically inferior to somebody like him is just ridiculous. I'm sorry, it's just crazy. This is just laughable at this point. Why are white people so obsessed with
It's funny because I saw some like white supremacist couple saying like, yeah, we do think our genes are better than the rest, and I was like, both of you have glasses. Like, I have 20/20 vision. That automatically means my genes are better than yours. Like, what are you talking about?
black people, the fall of the empire, what a time to be alive. That is also what's so mind-blowing to me. If you look at half the content I make, it's a reaction or in response to somebody not from the black community talking about the black community.
The black community is completely backwards, and then someone like a Joe Budden's ass will say, oh, you a culture vulture, right? And they'll like get mad at you criticizing this shit. Like they'll get mad at Vlad saying like, oh, you a culture vulture. Why? Because he exploits your stupidity for his own profit and gain? He's Jewish. What do you expect? They've been doing that forever, and you're too dumb to realize it. But you want to blame the white person for everything, and white supremacy this, white supremacy that.
Neither one of these people know anybody in the black community or from the black community or actually around any black Americans. Neither one of them, but they have all these opinions like they're plugged in and know what's going on with us. They don't.
You know, get into a situation with like a Chud the Builder and like use that as like, oh, you calling us blah, blah, and get pissed off at him because they ain't got nothing better to do. The reason why these chimp out is because they got nothing to lose, bruh.
Looking, dressing, talking, acting like black Americans, but got all this hate for us. It is the weirdest ride sucking thing in the world that both Myron and Sneeko do for white supremacists. Whether that's Sneeko, Myron, people like Asmongold, Chud the Builder, that have so much to say and such hyper focus on the black community and what we got going on without being a part of it or interacting with anybody that's in the black community. It is a very weird obsession that we've been seeing more and more.
They are. It's a fact.
So wait, you mean to tell me that we are genetically inferior to people that look like him? Like, will you really just sit down and analyze these people that do white supremacy? It is such a projection because of how insecure these motherfuckers are. Like, look at you. You look like you were created from incest. It has to be a insecurity or self-projection or something, because there's no way you look in the mirror every day and be like, damn, that's exactly what the that's supreme genetics right there. Everybody wants to look like me.
For real. But I mean, so yeah, this is what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for a reawakening, reincarnation of the woke culture. But I think this time it'll definitely be more more targeted, you know.
The topic that
Do I think that a comedian should get fired for making a joke? No. Do I think it's okay that you don't see a comedian because he made a joke, a certain joke? Yeah, I think that's fine. Um, should we be, politically correct and cognizant of, our words and how we talk to people and about people? Yes, definitely. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that's totally fine, totally acceptable. Like, if you, um, if you continuously like call me Dan or Danny when I've told you to call me Daniel, then we're gonna have a fucking problem. And I think that's okay.
We are going to discuss in this video might get my show completely censored, because if I've learned one thing from Jimmy Kimmel, it's that you're not allowed to talk about Melania. But boy, do I want to talk about Melania, because Megyn Kelly is talking about Melania Trump. The fake marriage that her and her husband have, and the rumored affair that seems to be a little less of a rumor, a little bit more true every single day. Now, we covered previously how Melania did not take the trip to China with Donald Trump, how their relationship is really transactional, but boy, oh boy, does the rant that Megyn Kelly just went on make me want to ask even more questions. We're going to get into it, but first I want to start with the rumored White House affair that Megyn Kelly is alluding to in this clip that we're going to check out in a second, something that has been long discussed but underreported on. Let's check it out before we get to Megyn Kelly, and also talk about Melania and Epstein at the end. Stick around for that. Let's start with this article. Trump's mysterious aide, Natalie Harp, reportedly given brutal nickname by MAGA insiders. The dynamic between Donald Trump and his executive assistant, Natalie Harp, has reportedly raised eyebrows. Her infamous admiration and loyalty for the president have time and time again given rise to affair rumors on social media. However, apart from this, Harp might have also gotten a rather embarrassing nickname within the MAGA circle because of one of her primary duties as his aide. Natalie Harp was allegedly touted to be one of Donald Trump's most devoted followers.
Bruh. You are all that matters to me? Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, he definitely fucked her. A predator like him, who doesn't have to assert money or power over someone, writes things like "you're all that matters to me." It's like, yeah, okay, then turn around and hike up that skirt. Definitely. Oh my god, he wouldn't be able to resist himself. Now I thought this was more about Megyn Kelly saying something bad, but we'll end on this one.
My voice is almost gone. I've been battling these East Tennessee allergies, and it's just about to get the better of me. So we'll see how it goes. I've got a cough drop in at the moment that's coating my throat, and I've been drinking some good organic tea that's been helping me open things up. But it's been a rough night and morning. And
he's lost weight too. Oh no! Like, I'm hoping on purpose, but not because he's sick.
If worse comes to worse, I can just turn this into an RFK Jr. impression and call it a day. But but I'm going to try my damnedest to get through it for you, because there's a lot going on, and there's always a lot to talk about. So yesterday, shots were fired at the White House. And I don't know about you all, but these days, whenever I hear things like this, it just sort of rolls off of me and I keep going. Yesterday, I made some really good rice bowls.
Especially the White House and Trump. It's like, okay, like, stop doing terrible things and people won't want you dead. Like, but in America, I saw this meme, and it was a cartoon of Trump and like a blueprint for his ballroom, and then it was a little girl saying, "Why don't you just practice um, active shooter drills and hide under your desk like us?" And it's like facts. It's like you want a drone-proof, nuclear-proof ballroom with hospital and medical capabilities, while our schools, our mosques, our synagogues, our places of worship, our public spaces are just open to any would-be shooter. So it's like you want all this protection, but not us.
Bowls.
Ridiculous.
While I was out in California, I stopped by a place called Marco's in Coloma, and they made these really kick-ass rice bowls. And so they were so good that we had to ask the owner, "Hey, how did you go about doing this? Because they're perfect." And if you'll notice, now I'm getting sidetracked talking to you about the rice bowls because that's kind of how serious I take what happened at the White House. But anyway, what they do is they dice up these, making those and how much I enjoyed them. And I saw the notification about shots being fired at the White House, and I just went right back to talking about the rice bowls, kind of like I did in this video. I just went right back to talking about that because it rolled off of me. And then when I was seeing a lot of the response on social media, the very kind of response I was seeing was people pretty much just letting it roll off of them. And I just saw a bunch of memes making jokes about it, and I saw a bunch of conspiracy theories popping up. And I said to myself, well, that's what happens when Donald Trump's your president, and we just get this circus. I mean, if you elect a clown, you're going to get a circus, and that's exactly what we've got. So from what I understand, this didn't happen as close to the White House as they're saying, but it did happen near the White House. I think like 30-some shots or more was fired. And you're probably also thinking, Brando, why are you making this video in the rain? What just started, and I don't feel like starting over because my voice probably won't hold out much longer. Here we go again, getting sidetracked from the story, which is kind of the whole point of the video. It actually works. But apparently the guy that did it was someone who was deeply disturbed, thought he was Jesus Christ. He's been around before making his threats.
So he was a Trump supporter then.
Secret Service knows who he is. And so this happened, and immediately Donald Trump used it as a moment to say that we needed a ballroom. And is that what this is going to be?
How would have a ballroom protected him from this?
Every time we have an act of violence in this world, is it going to be, oh, well, we're going to have a ballroom now? And in what world does any of this make sense, really? In what world does this guy need a ballroom because shots were... What difference does it make? Makes no difference whatsoever. It's such an insult, and it's such a low blow to all of the people who have lost children at school, to all the people who have lost family and friends and loved ones to senseless gun violence, that anytime a shot is fired near this fucker, oh, he has to have a gold lavish ballroom and taxpayers have to pay for it. But yet when we talk about protecting our children in school, they can't do that. They can't do anything to protect the children. But it's always, what can we do to build this ballroom? And he's mad because the Senate has slapped it down. They're not going to fund it at the moment. And he's going to keep whining and keep doing these stunts as much as he can, or capitalizing on these stunts, I should say. I'm not necessarily saying that he did that or had that done. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But he's definitely capitalizing on these moments to keep pushing for his bullshit. And that's why no one takes it seriously. In any other place and time, if shots were fired anywhere near a president or anyone had ever took an attempt on a president's life, it would be a massive deal. I took it more seriously when the guy threw the shoes at George W. Bush. I took that more seriously, and I was like, hey, why didn't they protect him sooner? They let the second shoe whiz by his head before they ever moved. Why didn't somebody do something? I mean, we can't take this seriously when you have a guy who immediately runs and starts throwing a tantrum like a spoiled brat, wanting a ballroom out of the deal. It's such an insult to everyone's intelligence that no one can take it seriously. So I don't blame people for letting it roll off of them or continuing to talk about their rice bowls. I don't blame anyone for believing a conspiracy theory they read online because it's just so bogus and so over the top. It's hard to take it seriously. And we're talking about gun violence. Someone lost their life. And we should be
They take out the shooter. What I will say is, the U.S. government has studied and tried to develop ways to brainwash people and potentially make them pliable to go and do an assassination attempt. So if they've improved on that, I can definitely see them using mentally unstable people to do these crimes. Like, the FBI will go out and pretend to be a terrorist organization and get like a kid to go plan a attack and arrest them for planning an attack with them. So it's not that far out of the realm of possibility. But at the same time, like, he's doing so much bad shit, it's like you're just, people are getting so much more desperate. Yeah, both I think are plausible. 60-40, I'm on the train with him. But yeah, I like what Brando's saying is like we shouldn't normalize this. We shouldn't let this roll off of our back. We should take a serious look at our society and like talk about guns and talk about saving lives and talk about taking care of one another and not have this callous view on any shooting, whether it is, somebody we despise or not.
talking about the mental illness that this man was going through that pushed him to this point. We should be talking about the senseless gun violence in this country and how we can work to make those things better. But instead, here we are having this conversation about Trump and his ballroom, and everybody's just laughing it off and making memes about it. And is that what gun violence is going to become in this country? Is it going to get to a point where that's all we do when we hear about it? I mean, it used to just be thoughts and prayers. Now is it just going to turn and be funny memes now?
Mm-hmm.
Is that where we're headed?
Speaking of which, like, Uvalde, I think was today. And Uvalde was the breaking point for me regarding gun rights. Yeah, it was today. My goodness. The first thing that comes up shouldn't be the fucking shooter. The first thing that comes up, it should be the lives that he took. If I were ever president, I would, instead of calling the shooters by their name, I would erase their names. I don't want to give them the publicity or the notoriety. I don't want them to feel like a celebrity. I would want them to feel forgotten and taken out of this world as we know it. And we would just call them by like a number or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably leave it at that because I like Brando's message here, but we'll never get to a point where we are installing gun policy and laws that actually save lives. We're not going to be doing that until Trump and the current Republican Party, as we know it today, is removed from power. Like, it's just, they are the biggest obstacle in the way of progress, life saving, and or saving lives, and honestly profitability. Like the USA is more profitable under Democratic president. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'm gonna head to bed, and happy Memorial Day weekend. Take care. Drive safe. Call somebody. Tell them you love them. Go hang out with them if you have the day off. If you're working, I hope you get a fat holiday check for it. And if you don't, you should definitely, you should report them. But I doubt that an investigation will happen under this president. But yeah, I hope all the good things. Maybe I stream tomorrow. Maybe I don't. I don't know. I'm gonna take my dog to the park, and we're gonna chill. Gonna try to tan some more. I thought I was getting darker, but it's not showing up on stream. So yeah, good night. Good luck. Love y'all.